This is 9 to Noon with John Kuhn.
You know, I hope they don't have to go to John Kuhn either at quarterback, but I'd sure like to see what he's capable of doing.
Bill Schmidt.
I think it's going to be extremely fun.
And Armin Sarya.
Oh, man, I don't know. I hope I can live up to the hype.
Nooners. Hit the guys up on the Pella WI Talk and Text line at 414-799-1973.
Unbelievably fantastic, man. I love to listen to your show.
9 to Noon is brought to you by Palermo's. When you want pizza, you want Palermo's. Made right here in Wisconsin for over 55 years. Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Welcome to 9 to Noon.
This is March Nooners. What is happening as the regular season in NCAA winds to a close? The NBA into full swing, 9 to noon. Talking some hardwood basketball here today. Also talking some NFL conversation throughout the day. What is good? It's Schmidt and Sarian with you, Nooners, at 414-799-1973. Armin Sarian, locked and loaded.
Let's go, baby.
I'm Billy Schmidt. John Kuhn is sleeping. I would assume that he has not awoken yet in a beautiful Hawaiian slumber.
Yeah,
soaking in the sunshine in the islands.
Based on the islands, based on the time zones,
Yeah,
Billy.
no doubt about it.
I'm not one of these time zone international dateline experts or truthers, but
Fair,
I think
yes.
it's probably very early in the morning somewhere. Unless, it is John. Maybe he's getting up for his early workout there on the beaches of Maui or wherever they are.
I sure hope not.
He's lifting in the sand or doing something. I don't know. I hope not. I hope he actually relaxes one day and he takes a sleep in, for
you got
once.
to take a day. Even
know?
JJ Watt, who was one of the hardest trainers of all time, said he may have, worked his body too much. You need some of these downtimes. You need a little bit of vacation and soak some of that in.
What a flex, by the way.
By Captain Cornball? Yeah, 100%. 100%. JJ Watt full of those reasons.
When you go into the job interview and they say, what are your potential weaknesses? I think some of my potential weaknesses, if I had to say one, is maybe I'm too eager to take on too much.
Yeah, I'm generally too organized. It really makes me sometimes annoying to other people.
Sometimes I've had to deal with finding the right work-life balance because I'm so committed to the job.
I'm so committed to
That's
it.
the way everyone.
I'm really married to my profession.
Really into it. That's the way people would love to answer that one. But yeah, I hope John. He's probably listening. No, I hope he takes a nice, relaxing, nice vacation with the family. So
soak on in some sunshine, and we will substitute. We will pinch hit. I will assume right off the gates, and sometimes that's a dangerous thing to assume. I think we're gonna fill in quite admirably during Coons Can't Miss.
I like to think so.
Right, make some people some money.
I'm kind of excited that he kind of bequeathed the picks to us this week, Billy, because this is great. I mean,
what did you just say?
Bequeathed. Isn't that the right word?
Oh,
No,
okay.
bequeathed.
Okay. I thought there was a different. I thought you said something different there at the end of it. Okay. All right. Sweet.
You thought I said something totally different, which
totally different.
I did not say.
Different.
No, not that. It's bequeathed. Yeah, exactly. Okay, whatever. All right, bequeathed. All right. So anyway, I'm excited for that.
I thought there was an F sound at the end.
Go ahead.
Just a wild start. What a start! 4 minutes in.
Gonna make some picks. We're gonna make some picks, Billy. In the 11 o'clock hour. Yes,
we will. Yes. And we'll also talk, as I mentioned, we'll talk some basketball. We'll talk some Bucks. We'll talk some college hoops over the weekend.
It's March, baby. It's March.
Yeah. And there might not be a real reason to worry about everything that went down with your Marquette Golden Eagles this weekend. Obvious hang-ups. Tyler Kolek, we're going to need to know that information. At some particular point in time, we're going to want to know what's going on with number 11, because last year it was the hand going in.
The thumb.
Yeah. The thumb going into the Sunday matinee against Michigan State that bounces them in the second round.
Well, yeah.
Can't have an injury to your best player who is now playing like your best player over the last month.
I agree. I don't think it's out of line to say Marquette's what they're hoping and dreaming for this year. The sights they kind of have set on lofty goals depends a lot on Tyler's health. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of uncertainty now is the oblique that he injured against Xavier, but obviously he's a big factor. I mean, Marquette can survive a little bit without him. If you remember last year that you mentioned, it was the thumb in the tournament. Cam kind of saved them in that Vermont game, had that huge run by himself. But Tyler wasn't himself, obviously, against Michigan State. So we'll see what happens. Oso was out with illness.
A little sick,
against Creighton. So Marquette already down. Chase Ross was in a boot last week, but he played. Sean Jones out for the year, of course, still with the ACL. So Marquette's had to kind of deal with this kind of adversity, being banged up all year. You're glad they've been able to kind of fight through it, win anyway, but they're the uncertainty on Tyler is kind of scary for Marquette fans right now, no doubt about it.
Well, in Armin, the other part of it is like in college hoops this year. Last week, Butchie hopped on her maybe a week and a half ago now, and we were kind of just discussing the ridiculous split win-loss record for ranked teams going up against unranked teams and or just lower ranked teams at home. Made it one of the reasons why it was more frustrating as a Badger fan on Saturday, even though you hung with 13th Illinois and just a little bit too much Coleman Hawkins and everybody else, whatever my man's name was that was hitting
Marcus Domask.
Okay.
Marcus. Yeah.
Yes. I kept thinking that Matt was saying dumb and Damask is the name. I kept thinking he was saying dumb mask, and I was liking that a little bit better because 4 or 5 triples from that dude to just continue to run them out there. Illinois has been fantastic since Shannon came back off of his situation. And
the situation,
But the way that college basketball in the regular season is played out with the inability for road teams to go and get wins, that was another thing for Marquette this weekend.
Good point,
If you're sitting there with Oso Ighodaro and it's 5 a.m. and you play at 2, and it's pretty clear that you're not going to be yourself in check notes, 9 hours.
Right.
Let's sit in here, make yourself healthy, stay in the hotel room. We'll get you after the game, get you back on the plane and get you back to Milwaukee and ready for March.
Well, that's the other thing. They don't want him in the locker room if he's sick. And, I don't know if this is the right time. You want to say if there's a time to have something run through the locker room, maybe this is it because, Selection Sunday is still 13 days away.
You definitely don't want it next week.
You don't want it next week. So it's one of those things where, he traveled. He felt good enough to play. He said the night before, but then they woke up and he didn't play. So I don't want to call it a schedule loss, but you bring up the point that, okay, so we've talked about the dominance of teams at home this year, right? In college basketball, it's definitely a thing. It's so hard to win on the road. Creighton, for instance, you might think to yourself, oh, Marquette's the top 5. Creighton's ranked 12. Marquette could win this, but Creighton at home has been dominant. They blew out UConn. So you're so good at home, and then this relates to the Badgers. You almost have a pressure to win at home now, no matter who you're playing. Because you're supposed to win at home. So it goes both ways there. So that's what makes it so tough to win on the road, but it also puts pressure on you also to win when you are the home team as well. So we'll see. UConn, Marquette's got UConn visiting soon. Badgers
Wednesday night, baby.
And obviously Wednesday night. The Badgers have their own issues here now with another L. Marcus Domask, too, Wisconsin guy, which made it hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, and
he's from Waupun,
I'm listening as walking around, and I imagine a lot of people were. There was some serious dadding going on, Armin, yesterday at the Milwaukee County Zoo.
Oh, I love that.
A lot of nods as you're pushing the wagon and the stroller on through. A lot of guys just powering through, suffering through.
To the other dads,
battling, right? I mean, listen, we're not trying to crash any wagons here, but there's some tight squeezes.
Yeah.
All right. The place was absolutely loaded for a 60-degree day in Wisconsin just out of March.
Beautiful.
People were being outside.
Especially when you get in that nocturnal house.
Absolutely.
With the animals of the night, it gets kind of dark and kind of the
big cat country was tough to maneuver through.
See some lions and tigers and jaguars and leopards.
Saw one man almost cracking. He had the double stroller going through, and he goes, "I'm just going to keep forging through because this is a cluster in here." and everybody else in the group knew.
That's nice.
Let's just let Sean keep moving on through.
Yeah.
We'll be okay. We'll catch up in a second. But Saturday.
That's nice though. Yeah.
To be able to get on outside and listen to LePay calling the game. Now Butchie was on the Northwestern broadcast a little bit later. That's a game in which the Badgers for the first 2.5 months of the season, you would not be thinking was going to catch an L. Over the last, say 4 to 6 weeks, it's been a much different story for Guards squad. And it's one of those where, like you mentioned, even though you'd have to be pulling a somewhat significant upset, it feels like you could be favored in a game like that because you're going to be at home. Now, both teams will have their conference tournaments coming up next week, and opportunity to, as much as you look at the bracketologies by DeCourcy and Lenardi and, whatever field of 68 guy they've been able to pay now to be able to do it and pump that out on X. You really get the moving and shaking next week, correct? Like what you do, and if you have a long-standing run in your conference tournament, I feel like those games you can actually move your seed line a little bit more than here into the regular season.
Absolutely. A lot can still change. So that's the beauty and the pain of March, right? The beauty is, if you're struggling right now like Wisconsin is, there's going to be ample opportunities for them to turn this thing around. And, the pain of it is you still have a long way to go. If you've done a lot, you still have a long way to go because you have your conference tournament, you have everything going on Selection Sunday, and then hopefully a fresh start in the NCAA tournament. But Billy, it was an emotional weekend with Howard Moore
it was,
coming
man.
in.
Yeah.
I kind of caught some of that coverage as well. I know Matt LePay talked, kind of bringing Howard in. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was so emotional. I don't know if that had an effect. I thought it was going to be Badgers by 100 after that.
Yeah.
You kind of had that feeling, and you have to give Illinois their credit because it's a good team. But man, that was an emotional thing to have Howard Moore. I don't know if you read the Rashard Griffith piece that he wrote about how he's taking care of Howard.
Isn't it?
It's amazing the enduring power of loyalty and friendship and what that means for some people in life. And it's
true brotherhood.
It's
man.
something to admire. So it's something to be proud of if you're definitely a Badger fan. They're going to have their chances here. I know some people were talking about the Badgers and getting down on them and thinking, okay, listen. This team might not even make the tournament. Disabuse yourself of that notion, right?
Yeah,
now.
Get that out of your head. That ain't happening.
They're in the tournament. They're going to be in. They're a stone cold lock to make it. Okay, there's too much ground that they would have had to mess up, lose, whatever have you. There's still a 6 in the bracketology, I think. So that's not the issue. The issue is how they're playing, obviously, right now. Hoping they can turn it around. But
they still on the outside chance for the outside looking in to get to that second day of buys. In the Big Ten tournament, right? As they've just now fallen a half game back of Nebraska. They get 2 more games here, but they'll have to go to Purdue, and that's a freaking lion's den.
It is.
That is a lion's den to walk out into on Sunday.
But it's an opportunity too, Billy.
I love the way you spun that.
You got to look
at that spin.
You got to look at it that way. Like you played a good game against them last time. Things haven't been going your way. You're kind of struggling as a team. All right, so let's go see Bowser at Mackey Arena and see what we can do. You pick up a win there, the whole outlook changes on everything, right? So I think you have to kind of look at it that way. It's not. There's no more time for chicken soup games for the Badgers. It's not like, all right, well, hopefully we pick up
nothing
an
good
easy
for
win.
your soul here.
No, and you don't want that right now. You want to have to try and play really good teams and try and pick up big wins.
You would have thought at one particular point in time, Rutgers was the chicken soup for the soul game. Now, granted, you caught a fat L against them earlier on in the year when you had to go to that pavilion. So you can take care of them coming in this week, and you'd feel a whole lot better. But each team with just 2 games left in the regular season. You mentioned Howard Moore getting honored and being brought out during the game.
That was so special, man.
It really was. And, it's one of those things that I really appreciate Butchie being able to be on and talk about it because he is such a pillar member of that organization and that family that it reminds you how quickly and how suddenly life can change. And as much as I appreciate every single time we get to talk into the microphones, moments like that makes you feel a little bit better to be able to share the message. Not that there's any impact into it, Armin, but more of let's continue to hear and talk about Howard Moore and keep talking about what Rashard Griffith and everybody in that basketball family has done to be able to
great point, Billy,
to take care of one of their own. Cause it's one of the reasons why I love sports and team sports in particular more than just about anything else.
Yep, I'm glad
you don't forge and not to say you can't, right? Because you had some just remarkable youngsters yesterday at the Admirals game.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Right.
I'm going to mention them in a second. Yeah.
But where the theater, in like first aid and your group can bring you some incredible solace in some of the toughest moments of your life.
Community can give you that.
Community,
yeah.
I just don't know is the same in anything other than team sports.
Right.
And to see that continue and be, vaulted in this difficult moment for that family is really, really warm.
That's a great point, Billy. I'm glad you brought it up because I think that's one of the great things sports gives us is that sense of bonding. And when you have that bond with a team, that family, that brotherhood, it's lifelong. And you can speak to that a lot too, being a college athlete as well. Those guys you played with are your friends for life.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, what might seem like a burden for some people like Rashard Griffith is his gift to be able to give that back. And that's an amazing thing to see. When I read Rashard's piece on that, talking about Howard Moore and how Howard used to look out for him in very important times. So this is his gift back. It's his vocation. He said that he could commit his life to watching out for Howard. That's amazing. A lot of Badgers fans. I mean, that was a Badger team in the 90s that really changed the program. If you remember, a lot of people remember that they had been struggling for a while. And all those guys that got recruited, Finley, Tracy Webster with Howard and Rashard, all Chicago guys, they all came kind of to Wisconsin together and turned the program around. They went to the tournament in '94, which I think broke like a 40-some year drought,
something like that.
That was an important moment for that team. Rashard talked about how Howard looked out for him during that time in a very volatile time in his life, helped him get his career on track, get his mind together, all these things, and that he can give that back. That's the power of sports, right? That's the power of sports beyond winning and losing a game. That when you're part of that brotherhood, that bond, you can find that bond for life, and that's an amazing thing.
And in sports, it's somewhat pushed. It's advocated too. You can say the word "I love you." Right? Like you can say the phrase "love you" in a locker room. And as dudes, we usually don't say that a whole lot. Right? Especially to other guys. But when you mean it and those guys mean it to their absolute core, it means even more to watch. So that was really, really powerful this weekend. I'll be checking out some pro basketball coming up here tonight. You were watching some pro basketball on Friday. Let's talk about the pro game coming up a little bit on the other side. We have a texter asking us about a check-in from the combine. Mm-hmm. There were dudes doing athletic feats this weekend that make you wonder, what was God thinking when he put somebody on this earth that's 6'8"?
Oh my God.
And moves at a sub 5'2" speed. The athleticism this weekend was stupid. Xavier Worthy taking every name over for going on in and running that 4.21. And my man ran right into the locker room, said, "I'm done." Deion Sanders dropped the mic kind of style from back in the 90s. So we'll get into a little bit of combine conversation and see if there were any more, conversations to make our head turn, because Caleb Williams was making himself
gosh,
very, very interesting over the weekend for sure to Chicagoans.
Indeed, Billy. I got to say this as well. We talk about good things, community in sports. We talk about doing good things in team sports. Let's put one out for the Milwaukee Admirals yesterday, who I think the final number, some obscene number check they were given to Children's Hospital yesterday. I think Greeny had the final number at close to $100,000 going to Children's Hospital. They had 30, they had 50 from the from Landmark Credit Union. There was a whole thing there going on. But the bottom line is a whole bunch of big numbers of money going to Children's Hospital. One of the most special Admirals games of the year yesterday, and had nothing to do with winning or losing, by the way. More special because of the Children's Hospital donations that every ticket went to. Was awesome. It was Junior Announcer Day, Billy. I got to shout out my man Beckett, and Gia was awesome as well. She was with Nicole. How about the junior announcers these days? You want to talk about
they're growing them different nowadays.
You want to talk about how they're growing NFL prospects these days? My man Beckett's in 4th grade and he had better mic skills than me. And I'm like, why don't you just take this promo, kid? He was so fun. He was so awesome. He was so good. They're from First Stage Children's Theater. I had a lot of fun with Beckett yesterday. So a big shout out. I think he's out there listening. You did a great job yesterday, buddy, junior announcer. And just give me a couple more years before you take all my jobs.
That's the thing. I'm doing the math. 4th grade, probably 9 or 10, right?
About that. I think he might have said he was 10 or 11. I couldn't remember.
So 10, carry the 1. We get like 12 more years.
Oh my goodness.
We get like 12 to 15 more years until that kid's taking one of our jobs.
Yeah. I was basically the intern yesterday. The way he was, that was going around. And he had some tough ones.
Hey, this is what you got going.
He had some tough promos.
Listen, bud. Yeah. I got you. Listen, buddy.
It's all good.
It's over.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah.
He Mike Kellerty. He sunned you at some point.
It was awesome.
That's fantastic.
They're growing these kids differently. I'm telling you, Billy, it's the podcast. He's probably been practicing in his bedroom on a podcast.
Probably got a podcast. Talks about sports.
He
might be dapping up Kevin Durant and saying the same thing at some point.
When I was in middle school, they had this thing called Kids Biz. It was like a Time Warner Cable thing where if you were a middle schooler, you could do your own TV news show. And we went to Time Warner Cable and we did it. And I'm like, man, I thought I was advanced for my age doing Kids Biz stuff.
We have video of that?
There's VHS video at home. Mom has it. Yeah, mom and dad's got it. It's at home. I have to get that converted.
That needs to get converted.
That
needs to get converted so we can listen. You can put it out there.
Yeah.
If you do it on this show, all right? Don't take those tapes and bring it to the Steve Zabin show. We don't want to relive that from last. Okay.
On this show only. Don't
dealing with any of that. 414-799-1973. Nooner's waiting to jump on the phone on the talk line. Text line doing robust business. We're back after this. It's Schmidt and Sarian here on 9 to noon. You got the game.
KB, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. 'Cause I want you.
It's 9 to noon on the game. Schmidt and Sarian rocking with you. Coon in Hawaii soaking up. I imagine there's a couple of Mai Tais. There's going to be probably a few more than just a couple, maybe a couple pina coladas. I can't have the pina colada, Armin.
Too sugary?
No, I'm allergic to pineapple.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So it's like,
that stinks.
It's one of those that everyone's like, oh, you got to try this. I'm like, well,
try it.
Somebody in here is going to. I probably shouldn't.
So what happens if you eat it? Like a full-on EpiPen choking up?
No, not that bad. But
sick?
like, I get my throat kind of starts, tightening up.
So no reason to do it then.
Start doing the.
Yeah, you don't need that moment.
You watched Hitch. It's not like full where he's walking around looking for Benadryl. Oh, the Benadryl, right? But I just started feeling like, okay, breathing's a little bit harder now. So I'll go something else.
Well, I was on Sunburn Bowl last week, so let me just give you some suggestions if you can have the pina colada.
Thank you. Yes,
you go to Mango Tango, man. That's daiquiri and mango kind of slush.
Okay,
easy, right? Because
I do like the frozen.
Oh yeah, why not? That's the fun part. Because I always feel like. Okay, like that's what's exciting about these trips because that's the tropical part. Because I'm not going to go to the bar. I'm not going to a dive bar and asking for a blender drink. It's just not working that way.
So quit asking.
This is something I'm only drinking on a vacation like this, right? So it's like, if I like gin and tonic, I like some cocktails.
Sure.
I'm not going to go get a gin and tonic there because it's like, it's not exciting. Like, you make me some crazy cocktail. Like, make the blender drink.
There's a little when in Rome kind of deal to it.
Yeah, they had a Superman. It was like red, white, and blue. The daiquiri, the pina colada, and the blue Hawaiian or something like that.
Oh, seriously?
So that was fun. I'm like, all right, make it for me. I don't care.
Let's ride.
Because I'm not going to go up to like.
You're not going to who's on third saying, hey,
exactly.
Can I get the Superman drink?
Or
no, you can Superman your way on out of here.
Yeah, like RWB that the kids go to.
They're not
on
making
third.
that.
Or when I was my day, it was Buckheads. You roll up there in 1 a.m. and the bar is slammed and you're like, can you guys make me a blender drink? Like, you're not going to do that.
No, we'll get you a fishbowl and let you get on out of here.
Exactly.
Which still is going to work out.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little when in Rome kind of deal, though. Like, when we were in Indy, a couple of the guys that we were with decided that they were going to at the kind of unsaintly Saint Shack house that we went to.
Sure.
They got a frozen drink. Now, they had them there, right? Like, they had the blenders going.
Were they offering it basically?
But then they had it in like the kind of Vegas style, like plastic cup. Like, it's just not doing the same.
Oh, yeah, it's not the same.
Not hitting the same.
No, it doesn't. It's like, this isn't.
It's not Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesdays. Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't. Or I can do that in Vegas or on Bourbon Street.
Extra shot for $3. You want an extra shot on top of that?
Yeah, make it too. Yeah, make it too. We might as well see if this thing's a hurricane before I go insane. 414-799-1973. Talking text line ready already this morning. Hopping with our first conversation about the hardwood. It's Ken in the Falls joining 9 to noon. Ken, what's on your mind, man?
Fellas, how are you? I'm just listening to you on 93.9 coming through Wausau.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's shout out to our affiliate up there. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that.
God's country.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys talk about the Badgers and Marquette, and two contrasting styles. What the Badgers were doing well early on in the season, they're not anymore. Their big man play is not very good. They seem to get bounced out of the lane quite a bit, and they just don't seem to follow up shots like they were doing earlier on. It's like one and done, and they're running the other end of the floor. Where Marquette, you watch them play, and even though they lost this weekend, their 2 top guys were out, they're just drastically different. I mean, they're crashing the boards. They have good ball rotation. They just look like 2 completely different teams. So the Badgers are somehow, some way going to have to figure it out and get their big men to start reacting a little more in the lane and to have their guards. You see Chucky out there, he's dribbling around like a crazy person. The ball movement is minimal. So they've got to change it up and guarding them. They have to see this stuff in the film study. So if they're going to advance into the NC2As and even in their own tournaments, they're going to have to change what they're doing and get better at what they were doing early on this season when they went on a big run of wins. So from Marquette's standpoint, their big thing, in my opinion, is just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and staying healthy.
Yep. Yeah, what they're doing has been fabulous. So I see them going on a deep run. I don't see the Badgers right now unless they turn things around going on a deep run.
Appreciate it, Ken. And Armin, I think what he brought up about the ferocity in which you attack the glass for Marquette, they have to play that way.
They have to.
They have to because they're undersized.
They're undersized,
and
yeah.
especially in their league. I mean, you talk about Klingon, it starts there with UConn. But there are some big-time bigs in the Big East that you're going up against every single week. Cat from Creighton, Kalkbrenner is you got size up and down rosters, and then when you get to the NCAA and you play more Big Ten teams with, again, more good, experienced big men, you need to be able to, your guards got to be able to rebound. And it's one thing that you and I have talked about during games when we get frustrated and text each other during Marquette games of there's just going to be limitations as to what they do.
There's going to be that weakness.
They got to play that hair on fire style to be able to attack it and still run.
I always said I preferred Marquette style for tournaments anyway, where you're guard heavy, because it seems like those are the teams that do well and make their advance because it's a guards game when you get to the tournament. However, you are always going to have that weakness of rebounding that can show up sometimes. You know, Stevie's really good at that. You talk about rebounding from a guard position. Stevie Mitchell gives that energy. He's a really good rebounder. He's always that guy that can kind of create that extra energy going to the glass. Joplin's been better at it, but it is a weakness for Marquette. But the strength, of course, they do play quick. To Ken's point about Crowell and Wall, I'll be honest with you. I'm a little disappointed with them as well. Wall is the one. You're a fifth-year senior. I kind of didn't expect your slowest part of the year to be right now. When you're a fifth-year senior, kind of looking toward that last part, you know, you just kind of feel like he'll take. Now he had a decent game, I think, this weekend. It wasn't terrible.
This weekend.
Yeah, he had a good game, but
found himself in foul trouble a couple of times recently. But yeah, it hasn't been the run that you'd hope.
I just thought it'd be an Ethan Happ type senior year for him, and it kind of started off that way, but he hasn't been as dominant. And the thing with Crowell, like Stephen Crowell, if you remember last year in the NIT, he was really emerging. Like he had some huge NIT games last year. So I kind of thought he'd have a monster year too and bring that back. They haven't been bad, I think. I don't know, you know, Ken's point was they get pushed around a bit. I don't know. I think it's more that he's kind of had a stagnant kind of run this year where I thought they'd kind of, especially Crowell, take that next step. So I agree. I think that part's been struggling for the Badgers. However, there's still time for them to turn it around. I don't think anyone expected Crowell to go on the NIT run. He had a couple monster games in the NIT.
Oh, big.
All it takes is for those guys to find it a couple nights when you're talking about tournament play. Next thing you know, you're in the second weekend. You know, that could happen. So
Crowell started the season. Now, granted, there's a battle against Chicago State, Jacksonville State,
right,
and the Western Illinois Leathernecks mixed in here.
Gotcha.
But 10 of his first 13 games was in double figures, right? And that does include beating Michigan State on the road.
He and Tyler both had good starts to the year. Yes.
Big game against Marquette where he had 16. He's found himself in some foul trouble in games that he has not looked great. As of late, like this week, he had 4 fouls, was only able to be out there for 14 minutes, right?
Like,
seemed like once he got out onto the floor, he quickly had to come off because of the trouble that he was getting himself into. But just there's 3 games in double figures in the last 10. And yeah, I mean, when you're going up against Edey and you're getting into foul trouble all night, that's a tough assignment. However, when you watched him do what he did in the NIT last year, you thought that it was going to be a path for them to go. I wonder if
I was waiting for that next step. I really kind of was.
Yeah, and I also wonder if how quick and how good AJ Storr was right away.
True, good point.
It changes a little bit of not how you want to play, but how you think you should play, and trying to get up and run just a little bit more, trying to get it into Storr's hand, trying to be a little bit faster than just drop the ball down to a big, like I know Butchie would love to see you do 9 times out of 10.
Right, and got scouted.
Got to get paint touches, as Buzz would say.
Yeah, and got scouted a bit too. I think when Storr became that big of a piece for the Badgers. And unnamed in the 414, talking about Tyler Wall has been the Badgers' best player the past month. Crowell's been the guy slacking. I don't mean to say Tyler Wall's been playing bad, because he hasn't. But I guess my point is, I kind of thought he'd be the guy to be the star at that point.
If they're going to be a top 4 seed or something like that.
To take it to a next level and that, you know, he hasn't been bad by any stretch. But he's kind of been, you know, I expect him to be the reason they go far, kind of in that spot. I thought, because the Badgers have been good at that over the years, is having those guys emerge as seniors, you know, whether it be Ethan Happ, whether it be just go down the line, all those guys. So,
well, and I felt bad for Wall last year because you could tell that he was hampered. Yes. You could tell that the injury was not allowing him to be a player that he wanted to down the stretch. You hope here for the final month he's able to. They're scoring. They just haven't been able to stop pretty much anybody.
Which is not what we're used to seeing from the Badgers, right? We're used to seeing the opposite. So I'd still not...
55-53 was a regular score last year. 78 75 is much more common in the 2023-24 version of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not a team.
I think this Rutgers game last year was 54-52 or something like
right.
that.
Well, and they've always played a slower pace, but that doesn't mean their offensive efficiency has been bad. I think people always mistake that when they look at eye tests. This is still a team that's 23 in the Ken Palm. I'm just not as down on the Badgers as a lot of people are. No, they've lost a lot of games, but they're a team that with veterans that if they can figure it out, can definitely win some games in a row. No doubt about it. It's just right now they're in that kind of that rut where they're not doing it.
Where are you on the Milwaukee Bucks? That's the question.
Big question. Yeah.
Talking coming out of the All-Star break. Going into the All-Star break, people were selling as many shares of Buck stock as you could. Did you buy it basement prices? Or are you still thinking that they should maybe be down in the cellar? Coming out of the All-Star break, this team has not lost. They get a huge one coming up here tonight. I say huge in quotations. It's a team in the Western Conference, but it's a team that might be coming out of the Western Conference. If you think the Bucks still have a chance to come out of the Eastern Conference, is the doc change a little more evident? We'll discuss at least one aspect of it coming on up. And the NFL Combine brings a lot of coverage of athletes and players and prospects. It also brings all the decision makers together to discuss some potential changes to the league. How many more can you take of changes in the rule book to the NFL? Weigh in on that coming up in about 20 minutes. That at 10 o'clock. It's 9 to noon. Sorry, and Schmidt special on the game. This is all I have here.
What's up with that? What are we doing here? Okay.
I think of that scene, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right at the end, right?
Great scene. That taught me to always wait till after the credits when I was a kid.
When I'm still seeing messages on the talk and text line come in at 9:31, please find a different fill-in host when you guys are off other than Brian No. Every time he's on, I turn off the station and don't go back until I know he's done for the day. He's the absolute worst.
Guys, we're almost done with our first hour here. We're
He's
still
gone.
talking.
It's over.
All right.
Go home.
He'll be back tomorrow, but I get your point. You guys out there on these text line and Twitter streets talking about Brian? No, I think he is, right?
I believe so. Yes, I believe
you
so.
Guys, you guys do not realize
just
how much
despise our man.
No,
over
but
here.
actually, you love Brian No, and you don't realize it. That's my theory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my theory. You actually love him. He gets you fired up. He gets you emotional. He gets you in your feelings. He makes you feel alive in the morning. That's what you want.
You want to feel awoken.
That's what you want. That's what you want. You know, when you eat a really spicy food,
sure,
and you're like, that's spicy. Ooh, that's too much. You like that rush of energy. You get, right?
Hey, there's a reason why people kept going for the St. Elmo's shrimp cocktail when they knew it's going to burn out your nostrils.
Brian No is the St. Elmo's cocktail sauce. So I know I can already feel the text coming in. Be like, no, Armin, nah. You guys don't realize how much you love him. That's the reality. Billy, I'm so excited. I know we're going to talk Bucks here.
I'm so mad.
By the way, Billy, championship week starts tonight. Did you realize that?
My starts tonight? I thought it was next week.
Atlantic Sun Tournament. It's already starting tonight.
How many rounds do they have?
Bro, it's wild. And a lot of these small conferences, because of the TV schedule, they want to get their games on national.
Sure.
They start earlier, so we're gonna have some of these games way earlier. These conferences, with their automatic bids way earlier than Selection Sunday. So it's pretty wild. But the Atlantic Sun Tournament starts tonight.
So it starts tonight.
Jacksonville, Kennesaw State. Yeah,
they'll be done by what? Saturday at the latest. Have a full week off before the tournament?
Probably.
I feel like that's an advantage for A10 teams going into the March Madness.
Gotta be. So
wow.
Are you trying to tell me
that
Kennesaw State is what you're going to pick for an upset? Is that what you're trying to?
I just might be. Yeah, I just might be.
We'll see
Kennesaw State fighters. Absolute battlers. You know what? They can run a full 94 feet. They're not giving up. No. They're going to give you a full 40 minutes.
Absolutely.
I have nothing else about either of those outfits. However, I'll be dialed in tonight.
I just love it. I mean, this is the time of the year where dreams are made.
This is your favorite time of the year.
Love it. I'm dialing in. I'm going to dial in games from all parts of the country where dreams are coming true all across America.
This is when you get your money's worth out of the ESPN Plus subscription.
Absolutely.
Just this week.
Absolutely. I'm getting games in from gyms in the Big West, from Fullerton and all these random places. And I love these local broadcasts they do with just like one camera. It's awesome.
How excited are you for a Furman game at some point during this championship week?
Go Paladins. The Furman Paladins.
Awesome.
Let's go Dins.
I love that it's starting already.
It's going to be sick.
So I'm heading out next week, and we'll be in one of our favorite places in the world.
Oh, man, I'm jealous.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like Vegas might be the real place to be next week. Not during, I'm not going to call it amateur hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to say during everyone's opening day, right?
Oh, sure.
When everyone, Thursday, Friday of the opening round.
Yeah.
But you don't get the sheer volume of games and potential action that you'll have here with Maction, with the Missouri Valley Conference starting up 7th through 10th at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri.
What?
Who isn't going to go and battle and watch at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis, the Horizon League tournament?
Love the Horizon tournament. Of course, we have our local teams here.
This is good. Okay, so I'm picking up here that some of these teams, some of these conferences just take a hiatus.
That's
because
what it usually is.
The Atlantic Sun will go on conference sites for the 4th and 5th. Then they'll reconvene on the 7th, and then the championship game is on March 10th.
That's basically
so they'll space that bad boy out.
They're spaced out because a lot of
not
that
nearly
is,
as crazy as I thought.
A lot of that is their chance to get on TV. Whatever the national TV deals can be, but the Southland, the SWAC, these type of MEAC. all these types of conferences can really start their tournaments early because of that. The Horizon always starts pretty early, so it's always fun to watch because it's like this is like do or die time for these teams. I love that. I love those stakes. I mean, these kids are playing their absolute hearts out. Coaches are sweating. Guys you've never heard of
because they just want to get to one. They're fine if it's Dayton.
Their jobs are on the line. I mean, for a lot of these coaches and they're fine. They can get to Dayton. They can get to the. Oh my goodness, it's so fun to watch. I love it.
It is a good time. It's one of the reasons why college does dominate the March platform, and then into April is when you can start kind of launching even more into the NBA. We'll do a little bit of that coming up tonight when the Bucks take on the Clippers. I watched the Clippers last week just spit up a 21-point lead to the Lakers at home in the fourth quarter, which was beautiful to watch when LeBron scores 19 in the fourth quarter.
You love that.
Oh, dude, I was eating it up there at that Hooters in Indianapolis. Anybody else watching this? Anybody else watching this greatness right now?
I got to give LeBron credit. That's pretty amazing what he's still doing at that age. Now, he's more of a shooter now, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but you also, and I know that this one warms your heart.
Yeah.
Love watching James Harden.
Oh my God, James Harden
in big moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
This Clippers group
stealing money.
This Clippers team is everything you would despise about the NBA about 3 or 4 years ago.
It's the 2K team from like 6 years ago.
It's the 2018 NBA All-Star team.
And I've tried to convince myself a couple times they might come out of the West this year.
They just might, though. That's the crazy thing. They're really, really good.
Right.
Kawhi's playing fantastic.
He really is.
Harden as a point guard is a much different beast than he was or decides to be when he's only getting the ball in the corner pocket or on the wing to shoot and try to dribble out from 30 feet and then draw contact and go to the foul line, which is annoying as hell to watch.
Oh, yeah, when he's just kind of just chilling out there and just not doing anything. But when he has the ball, high usage, he's more active, obviously, like that. I get what you're saying. But yeah, it was pretty amazing what LeBron's been doing here. I know that you like those guys. That's your pick, isn't it? Coming out of the West. Are you picking the Lakers coming out of the West?
Listen, I'm not picking the Lakers to come out of the West.
No, you're like the guy. You're going to be doing that forever.
I'm not taking the Lakers to come out of the West.
I'm going to talk to you in 10 years. I'm like, if they sign LeBron right now, he could jump on this team. I
probably give you 15.
It's like the guys that want Brady to play till he's 60.
This Joker's 39 years old.
I know. It's impressive.
Like
I'm not going to disrespect that.
And the 40,000 points. All right.
Yep.
Somebody is going to come close to it. Somebody actually might get there at some particular point in time.
You never know what can happen in the future.
But you got to walk into the NBA as a 19-year-old, and be one of the 15 best players in the league.
From a longevity standpoint,
the longevity of it, Armin, is just disgusting.
The consistency of quality performance, there's really been. It's him and Kareem that have done those things. I mean, that's it. Like from the longevity standpoint, to be that effective late into your career. And obviously LeBron has had the advantage of, different cryotherapies, nutrition, technology.
Absolutely.
That's fine. But he's also committed to doing those things.
He spent a lot of money on his body. Now he's making more money than anybody else has ever made in the NBA. I understand that.
But he can do it. But he's also played more games than anybody. If you count in all the playoff runs, Olympics, he didn't take you love this. He didn't take the baseball hiatus that Jordan did.
Didn't have a gambling suspension there in the middle of it for some reason.
Right. So yeah,
because Jordan would have won 8, 10 in a row if damn Jerry Krause wouldn't have come on in and broken it all up.
Yeah, that cracks me up still.
That's all it is.
No, he might have won 8, but I don't want to blame Krause. But yeah, he might have won 8. I mean, would he beat those Rock? Well, it's a different discussion.
That is a different discussion. I like this one, though, that Sheila in Milwaukee is having because she wants to. And I think some Bucks fans might want to. She goes, Doc, really not God? You sure?
Yeah.
She said, on the Bucks, I keep receipts. I was more than confident that the Doc River, she says the God Rivers.
Maybe that's it.
She said that God Rivers was going to right this ship. He's had his coaching where now he's getting to coach where his jersey is hanging up. He said it in that opening press conference when I was sitting in the back, Armin. He said at one point, something's going wrong. Guys don't understand it. I can say, fellas, I did play basketball. I did play
basketball. My jersey's up there.
Listen, it's right up there.
Yeah.
I know it. I played.
Well,
people haven't lost coming out of the All-Star break.
They haven't. And people were quick to eulogize this move, eulogize this team. And
are you talking JJ Redick?
Yeah, well, he's one of them. Mm-hmm. He's one of them.
Just make sure that we throw that name in there.
Oh, let's keep doing it.
It was JJ Redick.
And it's been turned around a bit. And I was in the house Friday night. We'll talk about that as well. A lot of Bucks talk here to talk about. Yeah.
at the house in the UC as Giannis was just putting it on those boys. He was going for 50.
South.
He was chasing 50 there late in that fourth quarter.
He was.
Up 20, still in the game. Let me see that rock here really quick with a minute to go.
He had Bulls fans in their feelings, let me tell you.
We need a couple of those stories. We need those stories coming up. Hour number 2. Armin is also sick and tired of something in the NFL. Sick and dang tired. We'll discuss it. It's coming up. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Like I'm looking like I need those 10 and a half, and if you got them, give me 2 of those. I can tell she never seen Murphy leave before, cause she just standing there as if I'm shooting free throws. I said, excuse me. rock the masses. From Madrid to Calabasas, Tijuana, Mexico, who the devils in Tokyo say they know me.
It's 9 to noon, hour 2, brought to you by Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. Elevated Hemp Solutions in Muskego make some of the best, well, listen, I'll say the best locally and legally produced hemp products in the state of Wisconsin. Some of the best across the country. That's really the pillar for Happy Place Hemp to hang the hat on and know that what they are producing right in their store is some of the best around the country. People are asking them how they've made it as they try to do their upstarts. Listen, you're not going to be able to do it as well as Rob and Chris at Happy Place Hemp because you're probably not going to do it the right way. You're probably not going to make it all right in your store. You're probably not going to have all the proprietary information to go and then be able to discuss and tell people the benefits that they can expect and the effects that they can expect from, your Delta 8, Delta 9 gummies, which are recreational, not what you should be doing before, going and running some heavy machinery. What you should do before is, I don't know, watching some conference championship games this weekend, right? Watching a bunch of conference tournaments fire themselves on up next weekend. You can fire up some Delta 8 and enjoy that, or you can just drift into happiness with their new Drift seltzers, CBD, THC infused citrus flavored seltzers, no alcohol, no calories, no problem. 3 or more 4-packs gets you free shipping at happyplacehemp.com. But promo code Billy gets 25% off your entire order every time at happyplacehemp.com.
Nice, Billy. Nice. I always wondered when I saw those things, like when I was a kid, I'd be like, not that, but like on the labels that say do not operate heavy machinery.
Yeah.
Like when you had different medicine or whatever, or like a Tylenol, I'm like, what does heavy machinery like consist of? This is the stuff I was wondering when I was a kid. I'm like, Dad just asked me to go cut the grass. I can't operate that.
I can't. I'm on Tylenol.
Mom just gave me a Tylenol because I was sick. I can't cut the grass. I cannot operate heavy machinery.
I think any item, definitely. Forklift will be one of them.
Cars, I would assume, don't drive.
Cars would be one of them. But I would say anything that in which you could get
cut up.
Yeah.
Like a saw.
Anything that there's danger to you probably shouldn't.
Right.
Now, like a drill, you can find danger with a cordless drill. Right.
You absolutely
now,
could.
your boy is finding out different ways that he can find danger with a cordless drill because I may or may not have held my finger too close to the screw and sliced up a little bit of the finger while I was holding something in, just trying to, get it in the wall. But listen, Armin, that's the collateral damage.
Being handy, right?
Of, now learning that boy's pretty handy.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
Listen, hung up a whole wall hanging almost by myself this weekend.
Are you kidding me?
Almost by myself this weekend.
That is a huge dude W
Thank you.
there. That's a dude win right there. Did you have the level out? The level? And everything?
You better believe
the
it.
stud find. I know where the stud's at, and then you.
It's right over here. Yeah, I got you.
You do it to yourself,
Yep.
right? The stud finder. That's hilarious.
Now,
I love that.
I may or may not have hammered the screw in or the nail in the wrong way, like kind of too straight on.
No, don't worry about that little guy right there.
May or may not have gotten made fun of by the fiance saying, "Have you ever done this before?"
Oh my gosh.
Guess what? No, I haven't.
Right. Laura would always do the same thing. It's like, Armin, why are there 3 little holes there? I'm like, don't worry about that little guy. We're going to cover it up. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. And if you keep looking at it, you're the only one that knows.
Yeah. You see,
if you point it out to somebody, they wouldn't know unless you pointed it out to them.
Right. So we're not talking about it.
Just don't bring it up.
So quit asking.
Thank you. It didn't happen. All right.
I just feel like it's funny. Like you're assumed to be a super handy when you're a dude. Like, and I've never been that handy of a guy, like where someone said, "Hey, can you build me a bookshelf?" I'm like, no, I can't. Now I can do it. I can go to IKEA and get one. If you need me to do it, maybe I can do it.
And I can maybe put it together with their instructions.
Sure. Maybe like that's the skill.
But that's amazing.
Right. But then like if you do something, like one time I put a towel rack up and I felt great about it.
Damn right you did.
I'm like, Laura, when she comes home, she's going to see this towel rack and it's up there. It's correct.
Lined up.
Like, you see anything in the bathroom there? A towel rack? She's like, good. You're supposed to be able to do it. I'm like, whoa, where's my victory lap? Where's my victory lap? I want a victory lap for this towel rack.
At least one time.
Yeah, well.
Give me a little bit of credit.
But I will say this, one thing about doing what we do here, Billy, is I know we got all kinds of listeners that know how to do this stuff. So if I have ever a question and I put it out there, I'll get a million texts that say, "Hey, Armin, make sure you find this."
Our text line is I'm going to almost go more helpful
very much
than YouTube.
Than YouTube. Absolutely.
Because YouTube can teach you, or at least this is the danger of it that I'm learning. It can make you believe you can do just about anything.
Good point. Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video on trying to, again, first time homeowner here, and give Schneidman some tips.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of mistakes. Made a lot of mistakes in year number 1.
But I just feel like Schneidman's going to go to like some pre-furnished, like it's all set to go.
Oh, yeah,
turnkey.
100%.
He's not
Turnkey,
gonna-
move-in ready,
not
all
gonna
the furniture in there probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas you're doing like the sweat equity starter, like all that stuff.
And I do some stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm looking up, watching on YouTube, how to kind of surface the driveway, right? Because we got asphalt.
right. Okay.
I'm watching.
You're going to resurface the driveway?
I was watching.
I'm not laughing. I just,
It kind of, listen,
like,
I thought
yeah.
I could maybe do it.
I could do this.
I was looking around like, there's like 10 steps. Now it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough.
Well, yeah, but that's
Line it up,
uh,
even it up, pave it through. I mean, there's just some big old potholes, kind of uneven. I've now gotten asked maybe 15 times. We should really figure out how to do this summer. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna do it.
Let's
I'm gonna
go.
look it up on YouTube and I'm gonna do it.
Let's go.
Then
Uh-oh.
started doing more reading that wasn't on YouTube after
Yeah.
my man does it in like 7 minutes. Like, this one day job.
This looks easy.
Looks like it might be a little bit tougher job. Looks like it might be a little bit bigger issue.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna put it past you to be able to figure it out and do it. I'm not trying to, I'm not snickering because I don't want you to think I don't want you to think I don't believe you can do it. I think you could do it.
Sure.
I just think it is funny when you say you start to believe you got it figured out.
Dude, the
You know?
confidence that I was instilling in myself after watching like
Sure.
3 videos, like, I'm telling you, I think I can do this.
It's no different than hitting 2 or 3 bets in a row and you think you got it licked.
sharp.
You think I'm a sharp, I got it licked, I figured it out, and then that thing right in your face. Like a couple hits happen, a couple L's. Now you might be able to do it though. Don't pull Larry Bird and throw your back out though. Summer of '84, Larry Bird cemented his own driveway, and then his back was never the same. So don't pull Larry Bird.
Oh,
okay?
geez. Well,
Yeah,
see, and that was
yeah.
kind of the
Sweat equity's great until
there's no more equity that you can
right,
give.
Right.
Can't make any more sweat.
Right.
But I think sometimes, and a little bit, this is pride, right?
Sure, absolutely. It's
Because
all
I
pride.
do want to have at least something that I can walk back into and say,
I did that. And
Like-
part of it is you want to know, like, you were able to save the money to do it yourself. That's
Well,
another
that's another part
That's
of
a
it.
huge part of it.
It's a huge part of
you
it.
might want to be
working
able,
radio.
Like, it's not like you can just say, okay, yeah, I'll just pay a guy to do it. I mean, you want to save the money to like try and do it yourself, right?
I do like
It's like
Margarita
parking.
Joe goes, just call someone. They will know how to do it. It'll be a lot better.
Yeah, but you call somebody unless it's a family member or a really good friend. Really good, because who wants to spend their whole Saturday doing this for somebody?
That's a good point.
they're gonna
Yeah, this
cost
isn't
you
something
money.
this isn't really something you can recruit buddies to go do.
Not really. I mean, if you have buddies like, can you guys help me move a couch? And then we'll
That
have
one's
some
a deal.
beers
Sure.
and we'll hang out the rest
Get
of
some
the day.
pizza.
That's fine. Like even helping you move, especially when you're younger and you're moving apartments.
100%. You're
buddies
moving
help-
15 times in 10 years.
You're not going to get a mover, obviously. You're not paying a mover. You're getting buddies to help
You don't have
move.
anything.
Like,
You
I'll-
got one dresser, one bed, one couch.
yeah, you guys can help me move. I got lunch coming at 1.
Yep.
All right. Hey, you guys, what are you guys doing this Saturday? I don't know. It might be a nice day. If you guys are free, you want to come over? I need some guys to come help me cement the driveway, or like pave it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reseal the driveway.
Or reseal the driveway. I don't think it's the type of thing you're gonna get guys jumping off their boards to be like, you know what? Let me spend a Saturday in May to go do this with you, dude. I'm good with it. I was gonna go to the Brewers game, maybe hang out at a patio.
Right. I was going to go to a rooftop.
No,
I'm going to come and help you reseal. Now, I like the conflicting reports that we're getting here on the Talking Text line.
Very.
Jason, Billy, that is not a project you want to take on.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
If you want a cold, patch some potholes, reseal it, that's one thing. You do not want to go beyond that in the asphalt world. And that made me quite concerned.
Okay.
The way Jason lined that thing on up.
That
There's
is
some
interesting.
scars there for our guy Jason. However, then 262 said, Billy, you can do it. My drunk stoner neighbor did his, and it turned out good. It was his first time too.
There you go, man.
If drunk stoner neighbor can do it,
Yeah, but see, he might have those skills. He might have been drunk and stoned, but he might know how to lay asphalt.
he might know how to lay asphalt
Now,
while stoned.
It's always also
Damn,
it's
that's a life.
it's good. It's good enough for who? It might be good enough for him. Like, yeah, this
Sure.
works. It's not perfect, but I can drive my car over
Will
it.
it be good enough for fiance?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you got kids, they might want to start bouncing a basketball in that.
My
You know?
little man's already dunking on the little tyke
You see what I'm saying? It's got to be even for the basketball games. You don't want to have some weird bouncing because
I was kind of thinking.
Well, you know why? It's because my dad, like when he was like 13 years ago, he didn't patch this up right.
Told my dad just to pay someone to do it. That might have. That's a good point.
Then you got Alex and Cambria saying, Billy, if you got beer, I'll come help you do anything. Now that would be a coup if you could recruit Nooners to come and do it for you. I don't believe in that. I mean, I know you guys. That's nice of you. We're not trying to.
There's 10 of us out there, and people
right.
are like, "Hey, how do you know these guys?" We listen to the radio show.
Yeah, I'm not getting AAA Dante to go start my car in the middle of the night just because I know he can. Like,
however, if I needed it started, call him.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I get. What you're saying.
Alex would be there and stuff like Derek and Whitewater.
Again, I'd feel bad though, right? Like
exactly.
There's certain levels to what you can recruit and ask friends to help you.
Right.
With.
It's like that. I know you don't know this, but there was a really old Seinfeld episode about when Jerry first met Keith Hernandez, his favorite player in the Mets, and Keith asked him to help him move.
Great mustache.
Keith asked him to help him move in the first time of hanging out, and he goes, "Isn't that a little forward? He's asking me to help him move." And then George goes, "What's next? He's gonna drive. You're gonna drive to the airport." Like that's the next level of
that is the
stuff.
Next thing, especially if it's early in the morning,
and especially in New York City. That's hilarious to me. So like, yeah, is that too much to ask of a new friend? Like, is that too forward to ask? Right away, like an early friendship, you're taking advantage of it by saying, "Hey, can you help me repay my driveway this weekend?"
Rich and Fondy, Billy, you need better friends. I'd help you. See,
no, that's easy to say, but come on, some of my best friends. I'm gonna make an excuse of why I can't help you asphalt your driveway. Unless I knew I was good at it. Like if someone's asking me
that's
to do
a skill that you gotta know
right,
you have.
Right, Armin, I know you like. Can you mind help me with this? Like if I was Ken at Brewer Contracting. Like and my buddies asked me to can you just check my deck over? I'm doing it. Okay, sure.
I'll come over and scout it out. Make sure everything's good.
I mean, if you ask me to come over and listen to your air check,
got that.
I'll do it.
Hey, Armin, can you listen to this spot? I just got to make sure it's good. Antoinette from Watertown. If all you're doing is resealing the driveway, it's easy. I've done it myself numerous times by myself.
Antoinette's done it?
Okay, she said by herself.
Wow.
That again makes me this is the confidence that I was getting, Armin, watching YouTube. The one dude said, "Oh yeah, probably be done in an hour and a half."
Right.
I'm like, holy cow, I could go play golf after that.
Yeah, exactly.
I won't, but I could.
Never turns out that easy.
I go to the zoo after. I could do anything.
You could do
Life
would
be my oyster.
You got a whole day.
Probably not though. Instead, I'll be in there an hour and a half in, 15 feet worth.
Exactly.
It's got a long ass driveway for no apparent reason.
Looking at directions, trying to search stuff.
Did I buy enough? Maybe I should have started from the garage and not at the end of the road. See, these are all the things that I might need a little bit more help with, but
Then you get the overconfident friend that comes over and says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it. We're good to go."
Gotcha.
And then you realize, oh boy, the whole future of my driveway is in my buddy's hands.
And that's a dangerous part to be in.
Do I want to be this guy? Be like, I lost confidence in you halfway through this thing. No, you got to let him finish it out, right?
I actually was having a conversation with a friend of mine about something similar to that.
Right.
Because he had buddy who was quite handy, was helping him with bathroom renovation. Right. And then it was
bathroom renovation's a tough one. Next thing you know, the plumbing's going everywhere. There's water like the Three Stooges, like what I mean?
Yeah. And he goes, "No, all we got to do is if we knock this part on out,
oh boy,
we'll be okay." And then there was potentially a sledgehammer that was hit and was hit maybe a little bit too firmly.
Oh boy.
So that there might have been a pipe going. And he's like, "Dude, this guy's a menace. He is dismantling my house."
Like, I hope you know what you're doing, because at this point, I have nothing but a destroyed bathroom.
No.
At this point, I have
no
idea.
Hope you know what you're doing.
Right.
Sure hope at some point this turns around. But he's like, and I'm halfway through it. And at this point, I can't tell him to stop.
Right.
Because this is much worse than of a situation that I'm in.
You're pot committed. You're committed to that.
Yeah, that's like you've bet everything on the flop. You got to wait for the turn in the river to come through.
What are you gonna
I got to see what these cards are.
There's no turning back now. Like, there is no turning back now.
Too deep.
We're already halfway into this flight. Like, I didn't want to go on this trip, but we're already halfway into the flight. They're not turning this plane around. And you hope that he realizes, like, you're putting the tiles back too, right? Like, you're doing the whole thing. Like, you are just going to leave the plumbing. Like, it works now. I'm like, okay, I need to retile this.
Yeah, but now I need the whole shower put back in. Oh, no, that one's easy. Don't worry. We'll do that next week. Next week? Next week?
See, exactly. Next week. But the thing is, that is the power. Like, what do you think about yourself? What skills do I have?
Not many.
I don't have those type of skills. I feel like I have the skills to be able to, like, make friends, right? So I can make enough friends to have one friend I know that's a plumber. I got one friend that might be a lawyer if I get in trouble. I got one friend, okay, you're an ear doctor. Okay, maybe if I got some earwax problem, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You try and build up enough base of people.
Get a network
of people that you're just delegating, Like I'm just delegating jobs here now at this point.
We did a shower situation last year because
sorry?
again, it was one of the sorry.
Okay. Well, I just didn't really
remodeled the shower last year, right?
Okay, yeah.
I was a great motivator.
That's it, right
Great
there.
motivator.
Yeah, you're good.
Pumped
you guys,
everybody on up.
Yeah.
Ordered sandwiches.
You guys hungry yet? I mean, whatever.
My uncle and my dad, both in their 60s. I mean, they were just doing it. I'm standing there legitimately with these prefab walls, Armin. This is all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Holding both sides up.
Right.
You guys good?
This is where I got to be right here.
That's all I got.
Things are looking good, guys, down there.
Even still? Let's go.
Yeah.
Didn't even ask if my arms are getting tired.
You're looking around, that'll hold, say
that should be good. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's right in that foundation. Yeah, that's a good one.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Tom in the 715 might just be the voice of reason here. He goes, every project takes twice as long and costs twice as much as you originally planned.
Right.
Hire someone.
Well, the nice thing about hiring someone is it's going to get done and you don't have to do the work.
That's fair.
That's the other thing. Sheila in Milwaukee, don't wear shorts. I burnt my leg. Boy, if Sheila can do it, though.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's another thing. Wear long pants. Because that's
Sheila.
That's hot asphalt, right? I mean,
your boy would not have thought of doing that.
No,
I'd have been out there in shorts, and my leg would have been singed.
Yeah, that's another thing. I would have forgot about that.
Yeah,
and of course, like clockwork, we wouldn't put it past him. Ken in the Falls. I built garages, I built decks, and many remodeling projects. Yes, we know Ken. We know you've done everything in this world. We know you're the champion softball player. We know you're one of the top fishermen of all time.
But
we know you've been building garages and decks ever since. We know you've been to every dive bar in America. Yes, we know Ken.
The champion of all champions. Yeah.
We know you think Tyler Wall gets pushed around the blocks too much. We're working on it.
We're working on it. Andy in Thiensville. The problem is if you have huge holes, then you need new asphalt. I've been researching this for a while. Had the house for 3 years, still haven't gotten it done. Okay, so if Andy in Thiensville's put it off this long, I might be able to get to 2026. Right? Like, I mean, maybe this isn't a 2024 job.
Yeah. It's like it's something you can put off.
Bad thing is I was watching the YouTube videos, so now it's in the mind, and now it's like, hey, we should probably start doing that.
Well, this is how you explain.
We have to.
This is how you explain it to Allie. You say, look, Allie, here's what I'm thinking, all right? This can last probably 2 more years if we're okay with it this way. Then when I fix it in 26, it'll last, we'll buy time, so it'll last even longer. So this way, we'll buy more time and we won't have to fix it
more
again.
Bang for your buck.
More bang for your buck.
I like that one. Chris in Oconomowoc. No offense, Billy. There's about to be an offensive part here taken.
Whenever you say no offense, something's coming.
But I feel like your driveway is going to look like the road Lightning McQueen did first time in cars.
Oh, yeah.
We're just bouncing all around. Oh, my God. 414-799-1973. I appreciate everybody still trying to instill some confidence in me.
We believe in you, Billy. And
Still don't know that I got the confidence myself, but we might give it a shot.
My job is to try and build that confidence up in you. You're the man. You can do it. I can't help you any other way except instill confidence.
Master motivator.
You know what?
That's all we need.
If you need me to tape
we need
up,
confidence in this building.
You need that police tape up around the driveway. I'm your guy. I'm your guy. Hey, nobody walk on here. Wet asphalt. Nobody walk.
Hold off right here. Is that the mail? I got you. Don't worry about it. We don't want you stepping on that.
Do what they do at in the parking lot at American Family Field.
Stop sign is right on outside.
When it gets hot, when that black tar gets hot, that asphalt, you put little beer bottle caps in it, so that's like a souvenir. You ever see people do that at the American Family Field when the tar strips?
You better believe
when it gets hot, everyone can push those bottle caps in. That's pretty cool.
That might be a deal. Okay.
I don't know. It's not very helpful, but it's an idea.
Listen, I need all the help I can get.
This was
a lot of it.
This was a productive segment, actually. We'll get to the Bucks, but this is.
But it was kind of tough because I had 50% of the people saying, "Billy, go do it,"
right,
and then 50% of the people saying, "Billy, don't waste your time and or money because you're still gonna have to pay for somebody to come and fix it."
Right.
However, and this is the one thing that I feel I take some solace in.
Yeah.
If I did try it myself and then still had to hire somebody, my Gramps would be proud of me.
I knew it. That's the ace in the hole is you got Dad too. And you have Grandpa, right?
Dad would be proud. Grandpa would be so proud because my man fixed anything with a hammer that he could. And he would always say, Billy, not going to make any money in this world. you're paying somebody to do everything.
I love that.
Make sure you get it good and bleeped up before you call anybody to come and fix this
I
thing.
love that because it can always be fixed. You might as well try.
Might as well try.
Give it a shot.
See if you bust up a couple more. I might have a lot of holes in this issue.
William, you gave it a shot. That's all we can ask for. That's what he'd tell you.
He'd be proud. He'd be proud. We'd be riding around on that tractor. Good work. Good try, Billy.
That's great. That is absolutely great.
414-799-1973. Have you resealed the driveway? You think I got a chance at it? You think the Bucks have a chance to be coming out of the East? Pat Bev seems to be thinking so. He might have been changing some attitudes. And Armin Sarian at the United Center getting all the Bulls fans riled up. Stories of that next. It's 9 to noon on the game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And if you're a procrastinator, maybe you've been waiting to replace broken windows or doors, or you just want to revitalize the look of your home, well, the time is now to get that done, because until March 31st, you can get 0%. I repeat, 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. That's right. Pella now, but pay later. 3 years later, in fact. Pella's free in-home consultations make replacing or redesigning your windows and doors absolutely easy. They go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote. Taking the time to listen and educate you on all the product options is what means more. And with DesignWorks, you can see what your home will look like before you buy. Pella can also customize, providing nearly endless possibilities for maximum design flexibility, featuring dramatic sizes, colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and much more. The installation is completed with no mess and no hassle, leaving nothing but perfect results. So order by March 31st to get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details, and tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you.
Levels, Jerry. Levels.
Yeah, there's levels to this. There might be levels to this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
I love that scene. I love that episode. Oh
So,
my God.
Armin, is he trying to build like stadium seating in his apartment? Is that the levels that I'm hearing
I
here?
don't know. I guess he was just gonna build levels.
Because I think there's a point in time for every college kid who has a house who thinks of, dude, if we just put a couple of these couches on tables,
It'd be awesome.
we'd have stadium seating. It'd
Right.
be awesome.
Right.
Rarely works the way that you think it does. However, man, when everybody first sits in there and somebody's sitting on that big recliner up on top of a coffee table, man, you think you just cracked the code of life.
And I think it was more like he wanted to build, like if you ever
Like an upstairs, like a tri-level.
sort of like, or like in a pyramid where there's little nooks and crannies there. I don't know. It's Kramer, man. Michael Richards might have came up with that whole thing himself. Like I have no idea. That was a funny episode.
I do like Jared and MKE. No offense, guys, but I'd be good with just listening to Seinfeld episodes the rest of the show.
Oh my God,
that would be your favorite show you've ever done.
You know I would too. I mean, let's be honest. You know I love Seinfeld. I told you, Billy, it's funny, isn't it? So you gotta watch some.
If we gave you at some particular point in time, you got to, for one of these 9 to noon shows, your top 12
Episodes?
Seinfeld cuts.
I'd have to go and do some research and stuff.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
I
We'd
could
give you time to
probably-
research.
Like I could probably come up with it. It's hard to pick that. There are so many little bits.
That's the tough part about it.
There's so many.
We only got 9 segments in the show.
Yeah, I know. It is tough.
So I'll trim it down. Top 10. That might even make it harder.
Maybe by the end of the summer.
Which ones are not going to make the cut?
That's hard. That is difficult.
If you can get it done by the time the Packers open training camp,
man, okay, I'll try. I'll have some hiatus.
We could do it.
I'll have some hiatus time this summer.
I mean, that's
you know, with the newborn.
Yeah, you will.
So maybe I'll be able to do. I'll be having a lot of episodes.
And also, expertly done by you. Middle of July, I remember hearing.
Oh, your boy's a planner. I can thread.
How
that
the hell did you get right onto the All-Star break?
To
be able to take your paternity leave. Expertly done.
I told Tim I'm a team guy. You know, I'll be back for Packers season. I'm a team guy. Don't ever doubt my loyalty, man. You know what I mean?
That is too good.
I can't claim to be that good, but it did work out in terms of that.
Well,
but yeah,
listen.
man, I'll have a little extra downtime. Maybe I'll watch some of those episodes and come up with some stuff.
You played an important role in there. Your timing was pretty impeccable.
Thank you. Appreciate
now,
that.
many people are trying to hype me up on the talk and text line, say that I could do this, say that I could repave my driveway. Tyson in Zillow, Washington asks a pretty important question. Billy, not sure how big your driveway is. It is a little bit longer. The garage was an addition built on, or not an addition onto the house, but it was built after the house was built, right? Like the old garage was attached.
Yes.
They turned that into a back room, previous owners before. So there's a garage that, it's a little bit longer. It's not a standard one in the area, but he goes, having someone come out and re-asphalt your driveway could be very expensive. You could totally cold patch the potholes, rent a plate compactor from Home Depot or Lowe's to patch that cold patch. Then buy asphalt sealer, dump it all over your driveway, grab some old shoes and a squeegee and start moving the sealant around the whole driveway. It's covered. Dust your hands off, grab a beer and admire your Saturday's work.
There you go.
See, that is in one paragraph exactly what I was getting from YouTube. I'm like, dude, this seems like something that I could definitely do.
They make everything look easy on YouTube, though, don't they? Let's be honest.
I've watched somebody redo their entire kitchen floor in like 12 minutes. Now, granted, I mean, maybe they sped up the camera a little bit, but I'm like, dude, this could be me. That could be me. Now, then Jason sends in just some fantastic work that he did on his. I built my house in the patio. I'm an engineer by training. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I got lost in the first sentence.
Engineer by training.
Over.
I'm not an engineer by training.
I'm not even a radio engineer by training.
Exactly.
Poor John comes on in here ripping this board apart.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I sure hope we can put it back together.
Now there's a guy that could probably figure it out with you. I think John the engineer could be over there and figure it out in a couple minutes.
Might be one of those dudes that actually would be the friend to say, "Oh, dude, I'd love to help."
He'd be
love to help.
He'd be up at your driveway at 6 a.m. doing it. That's it. That's what kind of guy he is.
You guys ready?
He's like, I'm good to go. Oh, I got you, brother. Let's do this. Let's figure it out. This is gonna be real fun. I like this. Now he'll have the pencil in the ear. He'll be drawing up plans. It'll be great.
I do like Jason, though, then cautions me. He goes, I would not take on this project unless I had access to the roller and some of the equipment. There are too many things that could go wrong. See, now that's a good way of saying it. There's a lot that you can mess up in this issue. Peyton and Oconomowoc, can you live stream you working on it?
Yeah, that would be good. Now,
dude, that would probably do YouTube numbers.
If you could get that sponsored, that might be huge. If you could get that sponsored, that'd be. If you could live stream it, get it sponsored, and there you go. That's your cushion. That's your insurance for when you mess it up.
For when I mess it up,
you can pay for the repair. You know what I'm saying?
The best thing is the contracting company that then would buy the live stream would be watching it, laughing, being so happy, knowing that they're about to cash in.
You'd probably have to get the right type of sponsor for that.
They'd be looking and saying, look at all these clowns watching him, realizing they're not going to be able to do this. Although, then when I dunk on everybody, finish it, and then the asphalt's clean, bring that basketball hoop on out, dunk before I'm 30.
Who's laughing now?
Which everybody said wasn't going to happen. Who's laughing now?
Yeah, who's laughing now?
Oh.
Are you going to try and dunk before you're 30? Is that
no? I retired from that thought.
Yeah, it was a fun thought at the time.
Oh, dude,
sort of like doing the driveway.
Kind of like doing your driveway. Yeah, I was really hyped up, thinking that was going to work out. Then I realized I was going to have to continue working out, so that was probably not going to be very, very good. I like Aaron in Milwaukee. Just do it drunk and stoned, and then say, "Hey, man, I was drunk and stoned. It looked pretty nice." Now that might be good. You just drink the whole time. You're like, it's pretty good for a drunk guy.
Yeah, that would be.
Pretty good for a drunk guy. Then I would still need somebody to help me out with it after, though.
All right, Billy, a little Marquette basketball update here.
We got some news on Tyler.
On Tyler that I don't love. So
that's not good.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So
okay, so let's get to that after the break.
Yeah.
Let's get to that on the other side. Tyler Kolek injury situation, some news. Armin Sarian is going to figure out how he feels about it over this quick commercial break. We're going to come on back. We got a Coons Camp Miss coming up in about a half hour from right now. A lot of people on the talk and text line telling me what I can do. And I appreciate that. We need more can-doers in this world. No more can't-dos.
Gas him up, boys.
The only thing we say we can't do is we can't lose.
There you go.
In the 11 o'clock hour. It's 9 to noon on the Game.
Real world, would you stop hassling me?
Get to some news here before we get to the top of the hour and the investment hour on 9 to noon. It's Schmidt and Sarian in on 9 to noon. Armin, before you hit us with the Tyler Kolek news, earlier on this morning, Zach Wheeler, former top 10 pick of the Giants, now with the Phillies, signed a big 5-year deal with them a couple of years ago. He was heading into his final year of eligibility or of his contract in Philadelphia. He signed an extension this morning, 3 years, $128 million. Right-handed starter, finished top 3 in the Cy Young, I think, each of the last 2 years. Dog, right?
Yes.
Fantastic run.
Yes.
It was the highest average salary for a contract extension in baseball history. That's jumped off the page to me.
Yeah, that's wild.
$42 million.
That's wild, man.
Do you know who had the highest extension before that average annual value?
I mean, it's got to be what? Less than, I don't know. What's the number?
Mike Trout.
Yeah, Trout.
$35.5 million.
It's crazy. Well, the way it's jumped. And for, pitchers are risky investments,
Super risky. And this is why I mention it and why I bring it up, because, when you're looking at a Brewers potential of whatever Corbin Burnes is going to sign for next year, there were moments where I thought, I don't know that you're getting Garrett Cole $300 million, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that you're getting the craziest number that you possibly could fathom. However, Blake Snell won the Cy Young last year. Who's he pitching for this year?
Well, I don't know.
Right? He's playing. He's in MLB The Show.
Right.
That's it. But he doesn't have a team. Like the money, every time I think it's slowing down, every time I think these owners are getting a little bit cautious with the RSNs, somebody just says, "Hey, man, hold my beer, dude. I'm going to give him $120 million and no one's going to blink an eye."
There's somebody that gives into the temptation.
It's crazy.
Yeah, one of these owners doing it. The question is, when does it stop? Who knows? But the other factor is this, Billy. All that talk about let's not make Corbin mad, let's not do this. Like, we're not re-signing Corbin, guys. If Corbin signed Scott Boras to get the most money he could possibly get, you think the Brewers are anywhere in that market? You think the Brewers are anywhere in that stratosphere?
Never.
You think they should be?
No.
You think they should be? People complain about Yelich's contract. That's not even it's like the 2/3 of that. I mean,
Yelich's deal is what, 27th in baseball right now?
That's what I'm saying. So you want to make that type of risky investment on a guy? I mean, because that's what Corbin's going to cost, or at least in that mix,
somewhere in that stratosphere.
So
somewhere in that realm, 5 years, $200 million.
It just shocked me when I heard people talk about it. I'm like, you guys, we're not paying that. We can't pay that. We shouldn't pay that. We aren't in that neighborhood.
Granted, I did look at you this morning and say, sure, it'd be a great day for the Brewers to sign Blake Snell to like a 2-year, $60 million deal.
If he was down to a 2-year, like a show me deal,
right.
Yes. I'm talking about the 7 years and all that stuff.
Man.
Okay, I'll do it for 2 years.
Sure.
I'll do it 1 or 2 years.
High price, 2 years.
Those are
short-term investment.
It's like
that's what you're wishing for.
It's like the deal this morning for Evans with the Buccaneers.
With the Buccaneers, yeah.
It's not the risk is the years and the commitment. It's the risk. I mean, it's different in football, obviously. It's not guaranteed. The risk is not as much the money. I mean, the Brewers could do an AAV of like that for 2 years and just stomach it for 2 years, probably. But that's not where the money. It's not where the years are going to be.
No, and one of the toughest parts about it is it's just not where the game's going. Like, I mean, you had Cody Bellinger last year who did. I mean, he took a prove it deal. Now, granted, he's not kind of a prove it deal again this year. $30 million prove it deal is one that I would like. At 3 years, $90 million. Now he can opt out each of the next couple of years. But it's just it's a fascinating money conversation in baseball, and it keeps becoming more multi-layered when you look at where the money is coming from. How fruitful will the game continue to be? Like, is it going to become more of a national product? I don't really think so. So I don't think there's going to be large money to come in that can just be revenue shared across the sport, which would be what you kind of need for what everybody wants of a salary cap. But the Phillies have been fantastic over the last couple of years. So they're making money hand over fist. Is it easier for them to take that risk? Absolutely. It's a top 10 market in sports. It is one of the hungriest fan bases in all of sports. But it always comes with a risk. All right. Now let's get into the news that is ultra important in the city of Milwaukee. What the heck is going on with Tyler Kolek over there at Marquette?
Marquette Basketball tweeted about Tyler Kolek's injury. Guard Tyler Kolek will miss the final 2 games home against UConn at Xavier of the regular season and be reevaluated prior to the team's Big East tournament opener March 14th. Not great.
Don't
news.
like that word.
Not great news when you hear will be reevaluated. Like basically, we don't think he's close
like that
yet.
word.
I don't like it. The nervousness, of course, is, for a Marquette fan, you're thinking, we'll just keep him out of the NCAA tournament. I mean, you hope not. You hope he'll be 100%. Will he be something? I'm going to say this. If I had to put money on him suiting up, there's no way they're going to keep him from playing. The question is, how healthy will he be?
Yeah,
right?
how effective will he
How
be?
effective will he be? They want to rest him. Obviously, recovering the rest of the regular season doesn't bode well for me, hoping it was just like he was sore the next day. You know what I mean? So no Kolek until possibly the Big East tournament, and we don't even know about that. The concern for
I would doubt he plays in the Big East.
I would doubt too. I don't know if it's worth the risk unless he has a healing thing.
A big
Shaka did say he
turnaround
felt
here.
better like a little bit after that week, so maybe they're just going to be cautious. We'll see. The reevaluation part of it is what makes me nervous.
100%. That's the one word that gives you pause.
They don't know. Right?
That makes it sound as if it could potentially be bad enough where he would miss, say, a month plus.
Yeah.
But we will see if in reality he can go on out and suit up at some particular point during the month of March. If this injury happens in December, just reading what that sounds like,
exactly.
He's missing 6 weeks.
Right. And I think the concern, obviously, we know Marquette, they have goals. They're not the same team, obviously, without the reigning Big East Player of the Year, Tyler Kolek. So, this has the flashbacks for me are it was 04-05, Travis Diener senior year.
Yeah.
Diener was having a great year on his way to being, I think, probably All-American. Broke his wrist or his hand, and then Marquette, lost a bunch of games.
To the finish.
Didn't make the NCAA tournament, kind of cost them a trip to the NCAA tournament that year. They didn't really have many point guard options, but behind Travis Diener at that point. Marquette's in a similar situation. They have a guard rotation, obviously. They have guys that can play the spot, but Sean Jones was out for the year. So this is the concerning thing for me. You're talking about a senior on his final stretch here, probably.
Just before senior night, too, you're going to get the
So-
reigning national champions in here.
So
You beat him last year. Damn, that sucks for him personally.
Not great news, but we'll see what happens. Reevaluation. Hopefully, they're taking a cautious approach. Will be back for the tournament, which
I
think
feel
is
brutal for him.
Yeah,
That's brutal for him.
and I'm going to New York for the Big East tournament. I don't know if I told you that, Billy. So I was pretty excited. I'm like, I wanted to do this one time, Big East tournament, Madison Square Garden. I'm like, all right, this is the year. I hope I get to see him in the Big East tournament, but we'll see. It's not about me, of course.
Well, no, hold on. You're damn right. It is. Media starts with me.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll see. It doesn't. If I had to guess,
That's not great news for the Golden Eagles.
If I had to guess too, he's not playing the Big East tournament. They're gonna hope he's ready by. Let's see. Selection Sunday is
17,
so that's 13 days away. Then they potentially have their first game on Thursday.
Get
So
about 3 weeks.
Talking about 3 weeks there. You just hope for the best here.
Which again, just reading it, just the way that my mind goes, it's probably 4 to 6 at minimum. The way they word that, could see him. I would doubt if there is a chance he goes that you don't see him in the NCAA.
No, he'll
tournament.
play. He likes playing hurt. I'm not saying he likes playing hurt, but he plays hurt all the time. If you remember, he had the ankle injury early in the year, and then he went through the pregame at Illinois really hard to prove to the coaches he could play. They won that game. He had a big game. Last year, he had a thumb injury, but he kept playing. Didn't play it well, but he played through it.
Yeah, but he played.
I think he'll be suited up for the tournament. It won't keep him out. I mean, it's just the way he is. He's going to be like, I'm going to go try and go.
Mhm.
I just don't know how effective, that's the question.
This is the part of sports that is always the unknown. And in a lot of other sports, we focus on it a lot more of the availability. We were talking about it with the NBA a couple of weeks ago, right? Availability in the NFL is one of your abilities. In other sports, it's not focused on as much, but some of the best teams are generally the healthiest ones.
Yeah.
This is a tough beat.
And I think, speaking for Marquette fans, I think a lot of times they kind of.
How you feeling right now?
Well, they worry these things keep happening to them. You remember Dominic James? I mean, that was the senior year for the Big Three. They were on their way, hopefully, to a big run. He broke the 5th metatarsal against UConn. He came back against Missouri, but was not effective. I mean, he wasn't. But it's just
when he suited up, though, you thought they were.
We were all fired up. They all shaved their heads. And they almost won the game. It was Missouri, right? They almost won anyway, but that was a shocker. We thought he'd be out for the year for sure. And then they're like, Dominic James will be available. I'm like, what? He had special shoes, kind of like big orthopedic. I remember that, but like Mark, I think Marquette fans feel like this keeps happening. So hopefully this isn't the same.
Let's not follow the same script.
Yeah.
Let's rewrite that script coming up at the end of the March. We'll hope to see Tyler Kolek here at some point, because that is a brutal situation. All right, let's refocus, regroup, take a deep breath over here. There's a lot of scenarios going through my man Sarian's mind right now for Marquette fans alike. We'll take a time out, discuss some investing on the other side, maybe investing on your Milwaukee Bucks, and something I want to get into on the NFL that had us a little bit hot and bothered this morning. It's 9 to noon on the game. Hour 3 is next.
Best forgotten when you're thinking of a joke, and nobody's gonna listen to the one small point. I know they've been missing around here. Broadway is dark tonight. Little bit weaker than You don't want zero problems, big fella. Yup. If one more label try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in your lobby. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail. They gon' channel riding through the street, they be like, they go. You don't want no
For the month of
problem,
March,
no
Iron
problem
Jock
with
will be
me.
running a special program with a special free item announced every Thursday.
Okay.
Right?
Free stuff.
Check this out. Free item every Thursday,
What?
like extra gear, free tickets to area attractions, and more. But the way to get the weekly code is by subscribing to Iron Jock's emails. And you know what that is, Armin?
Yeah.
FREE. Free.
Hey, I like that.
Free to sign on up. Free to get those promos each and every week. So go to ironjock.com, subscribe today. To ironjoc.com. Armin showed off the YouTube and X audience. He's got his Iron Jock sweatshirt on. I was rocking it in Indy, and it was necessary because there was one day when it was 65 degrees. I was one of 7 people at the convention center wearing shorts. The next day, I walked out of the hotel. It was 31 degrees.
Oh, boy.
And it was 35 mile an hour winds.
Oh, boy.
It was one of the coldest I have been all year
Oh,
long.
boy.
And that lightweight Iron Jock shirt just underneath
Yes.
my fleece zip up, I was all right. I was all right. Now I'll be honest, wasn't loving it. what was not loving
The cold?
that drastic cold
Yeah.
snap. Although my man Aaron Nagler, every single time on Tuesday, we're walking around, beautiful, sunny,
Yeah.
hot, almost 70 degrees.
Okay.
He goes, dude, it's way too hot out here. Like, you
Too
need
hot?
to shut the heck up.
He's the opposite of me.
You need to stop. You need to stop that right now.
Yeah, come on now.
He goes, this
Don't-
isn't Indy. This isn't winter. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like that deal.
Oh, I see. He's saying
We
it's
don't want that winter right
He's
now.
saying it's unsettling that it's not cold. I understand. That's different. It's not like he doesn't like warm weather. But
Not
yeah,
a big
come
fan
on,
of warm
Aaron.
weather.
Come on,
No.
Aaron. Just let
Nags
it be.
is not a big fan of warm weather. He is a big fan of winter, big fan of cold, big fan of wearing jackets. That's not exactly what we're getting into.
No, but at least if he's got the Iron Jock, he's all set to go. Yeah, I got the
Yeah, he
hoodie,
can do that in
I
any
got
weather.
the long sleeve tee. You know, it's my Iron Jock fit day. You know what I mean? So that's why
Oh,
I go
this is your
comfortable.
Iron Jock fit
This
day.
is the one.
This is the one day.
Every day is the fit.
I was
Iron
going to
Jock
say,
fit
this
day.
is the one day.
Yeah, I like that. It does. It's a Monday. We're gonna ease into the week with little Iron Jock.
No doubt about it. And we're going to fire on up some investments and some wins coming up here momentarily.
Yep.
But before we get to that, Armin, been pushing this around a couple of times throughout the show here today, that the NFL, amongst the prospects running, the offensive linemen showing out yesterday, fantastic feats of athleticism. How about the mullets on the offensive lineman? Tanner Bortolini,
Yeah.
my man from, I want to say, Wyoming, the blonde mullet, cat was moving. 4.94, I believe, is what he clocked on in at. A couple of sub fives for the 300 pounders, both rock and flow.
Well, pretty
That's
amazing.
good moves.
The mullet is fully back now. You notice that?
It is, yeah.
It's fully back with even with mustaches, I might say,
Mhm.
and rope hats.
Yep.
This is the look now. So guys are into the mullet again, not even as a joke anymore. They're fully.
It
it's fully
started
back.
as a barstool joke, I would say.
Yeah, I guess. I
And
mean,
now it is a full-on deal. Like, they are
everyone's
back.
Everyone's wearing them again, and that's going to be the look again. I wouldn't be surprised.
Should I
if-
shave the sides of mine? Go full mullet?
Why
or what?
not, dude? Go for it. Why not? I don't know. You cut your hair though. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know exactly if I'm down with that. But
a lot of the '80s looks are going to come back, dude. I'm telling you.
so those big old pants, big puffy pants.
I
will
think we're
run
gonna
on through.
we're gonna get Zubas coming back soon. We're gonna get Zuba pants.
Oh, and they were back when
Yeah.
about 10 years ago. People were big back into the Subas.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think,
Yeah.
especially with linemen, you get the mullet going on. I could see that. I could definitely see that happening.
But in the midst of it, there's conversations with players, with agents. Free agency will start up coming up on the 13th. So there's a lot of conversations to be had. One of the other parts of the weekend is the meetings that they'll have with the competition committee.
Yes.
Adding a couple of people to it, trying to find a way that they're going to change the kickoff once again. Now, I got this throughout the weekend, and I didn't know if it was just me who was kind of turned off to it.
Okay.
people are complaining about the surprise onside kick.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, and now I got a nice background on the XFL kickoff from the man that was the former XFL rules commissioner or head chair, who I was hanging out with last week. And the players would line up at the opponent's 40-yard line. Some members of the receiving team will be aligned 5 yards away. Some will be up to 10 yards away, and the kick will be required to have to land in between the 20s. Otherwise, it's like it's an out-of-bounds kick.
Okay.
You got to get it within that sweet spot.
Sure.
And otherwise, you can still obviously kick it out of the back of the end zone. The part that many people were being hung up upon was if you're going to try an onside kick, you have to be trailing in the fourth quarter, and you got to declare it.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's some of these romantics on here, and I love the NFL, right? I got a sick, twisted love affair with the National Football League.
Absolutely. Okay.
If the thing that I am going to be brokenhearted about is that the surprise onside kick that hasn't been done, executed well in about 12 years? I mean, the last one that actually worked is the one that McAfee plays on his intro on like a Sunday night game in Houston.
Sure.
You don't get onside kicks at all anymore.
You don't.
If this is what we're going to be upset about, we're just bitching to bitch. Like, that's all I can see is you're complaining to find a reason that you're upset with the NFL. And maybe there's more people that are, Armin, now.
Well,
just finding reasons to be frustrated with the empire that is the National Football League.
I think maybe there's something to that, something to the fact that it's another way that they see the game changing from what they know in their youth, and that they don't like that either. You're taking away the things we love about the game. It's continuing to happen. Don't take away now. You're getting softer, so don't take away onside kicks, because that's what we grew up loving, having those memories of the surprise onside, Super Bowl 30, when Cowher went for it, or I think that Oilers,
Sean Payton did it, obviously, against the Colts. Yep.
The Oilers-Bills game, the Bills did one, that big comeback. It's like, I get it. I'm a nostalgia freak too. And I'll be honest with you, Billy, and I'm just going to say it. And we talked about the kickoff rule last week. I think we did it once with Tim Allen. My eyes start to glaze over. I cannot bring myself to care enough about these things, about another rule change, onside kickoff rule change. It's just becoming, I love the NFL. This isn't like a niche sport. This isn't the X Games. We don't need to keep coming up with crazy rule changes.
It's not the NBA All-Star game that needs to be fixed every year.
Every year we're coming up with some new rule change that I have to figure out and do math. I mean, even the way you started explaining it, we're going to have to figure it out. Have big, long paragraphs on the screen now during every game.
Oh, yeah.
We got to stop
graphics.
Changing everything so much. This game is great. We don't need to make big, sweeping changes every year. And I'm sorry, I just can't get excited about another rule change in the NFL. It was hard enough watching the Super Bowl trying to figure out about overtime and
explain it to everybody at the party as to what's happening, because we've never seen a game actually played like that before with those rules.
Yeah, like the competition committee is there, and you guys can exist without changing some big rule every year. Like, we don't need to try and tweak everything all the time. I don't need another rule change. And the next time someone has a hot take with me about the kickoff rule, my eyes are just going to glaze over, Billy. It doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. I can't get that passionate about it, about a kickoff and an onside. Like, let's just have our game.
Right.
And let's play it.
And as bad as it sounds, I don't mean to diminish the style, right? I don't mean to diminish special teams. It's 5 plays of a game.
It's a small impact.
7 plays of a game.
It's an impact, but it's a small impact.
Yes. Yeah. Can it be impactful when you got guys like a Keyshawn Nixon who can take it to the 50, right? Change the game, flip the game. That was a massive momentum changer for the Packers in the divisional round to be able to take it inside the 20.
It can happen. Absolutely.
I am not saying that it's not. And I like the play, right? Like, I like having a kickoff that actually means something. However, they've gone down this rabbit hole so many different times that it's kind of where I'm at with the tush push, which was every point of contention and argument that you had about the competition committee this past year in the NFL was, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Are they going to get rid of it? Are they going to get rid of it? How about instead of complaining and trying to figure out if we can get rid of it, we maybe find a way to stop it?
There you go.
Right? Like, I mean, now they've changed and litigated the kickoff so much due to player safety that they've bound their hands in so many different directions that maybe the only way to free yourself of a year in and year out change is cut bait with it. Just be done with it. The ball lines up at the 20, 25-yard line after a score, and that's just where it is. Special teams coordinators don't want that for what reason, Armin? I need some job security.
Job security and
as great,
not failing, right?
And as big as the NFL is, as massive a sport as it is,
they're important.
Special teams coaches have been a thing for the last 25 years. Before that, it was a linebackers coach did punt. And you probably could do that if you get rid of the kickoff.
And coaching staffs.
No wonder special teams coordinators are trying to summon up the strength to fight back against the kickoff change.
I totally get it. And listen, coaching staffs have gotten bigger and bigger. So
every year it does.
As much
every
as
year
say
it does.
It's not a big deal. We're gonna slice and dice every part of the game to try and analyze. I mean, you talked about it, Billy. The analytics guys who try and break down the likelihood of success on a third down run between the tackles.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, when winning's at stake and winning's as important as it is in the National Football League and everybody wants to win, they're going to look for any edge they can. So I don't think special teams coaches will be gone. That being said, when there's a new rule like this, I trust coaches will do everything they can to try and manipulate the rules or to try and get the best edge on the rules. But as a fan, it's hard for me to get all fired up about a kickoff rule that can we just kick the ball off and play? I don't need to worry about middle of the 20 and it's a reset and a kick, whatever it is. I have
just kick it and let's go.
Come on.
Florio is all into his feelings and just digging all over this weekend. Just one little excerpt from here was teams also would no longer need a kickoff specialist who can bang the ball 75 yards. There will be a premium on placement within the landing zone, possibly via a line drive calculated to land within 20 to 40 yards of the kick and force the returner to handle it or risk having it skitter into the end zone. Or alternatively, a team could find a non-kicker who would drop it into the landing zone, giving them an 11th traditional defender who could participate in the pursuit of the man who catches the kick. That all sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That all sounds like things that we can be discussing at the tail end of training camp when we're trying to figure out who the 52nd, 53rd guy on the roster is going to be.
Exactly.
Can this guy kick off?
Exactly.
Cool. Sounds good.
Right.
Let's add it if that's going to be the situation. However, I'm going to be with you that I'm not going to freak out about it, talk too much about it. Really? And as bad as this sounds, I hope Nooners aren't offended. I don't know that I'm going to waste a whole lot of my brain power
I don't think
thinking about it until one, it happens.
Then I'll have to figure it out, right?
And two, when it lasts 2 years.
Exactly.
Because the kickoff has now been changed just about every single year
and
for the last half decade.
No one is asking for this either. Do you think all your buddies are getting together at the bar saying, "I
got to figure out a way"?
They better change the kickoff rule, or I'm not watching the NFL anymore.
I'll be honest; it's something I think of in the off season, and when the game actually gets played, I'm barely thinking about it.
I think the competition committee exists to just have something to talk about these 2 weeks that the Super Bowl is over before.
Yeah.
I really do because
excuse to go have an expensive brunch on the tab. Yeah.
I think we're good. I don't think I need a brand new kickoff rule that I have to have paragraphs of explanation, addendums to the rule, and then my dad will be asking me every week, what is this new rule? And I have to try and explain it. And it's nothing to do with it's not my dad's fault.
It's everybody.
You're watching football. You're like, can't they just kick it off and play? No, it's got to be in the landing zone.
Dude, I was explaining
landing zone. What is this no splash waterfalls?
I was gonna. What are we doing here? Is this the end of a water slide?
Jeez, man.
We gotta make sure the tarmac's cleared for everyone to land.
This isn't Nickelodeon. This isn't American Gladiators. Let's have some weird rules.
Although I'm
bullseyes in the field.
Sorry, I'm still signing up to watch the NFL on Nickelodeon any single time they do that simulcast.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to get to the slime zone. I am watching that broadcast every single time. Less talk about how we fix the kickoff because do we really care that much about it? More time to figure out how we can get slime zones. And also more thought needs to go into a potential slime zone at the brand new Potawatomi Sportsbook for victories.
The man can't miss. I'm down for Coons Can't Miss. Presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bull.
I mean, they're still building it out. I saw the renderings.
Yep.
We could put a small little slime zone there in the middle of it.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
I don't know that the housekeeping would be a big fan of it.
Worst bet of the day. No, that would be
no. It's got to be best win.
Best win. Oh yeah, I get it.
Best parlay win of the week gets
Oh,
slimed.
So the guy that wins the most gets slimed?
Yeah, the slime is a good thing on Nickelodeon.
I know that, but you got to
They
clean
always
up.
celebrate the slime for a touchdown. Come on, Armin.
Well, I thought the old
You got to get in with the
I
times.
thought the
here,
old
dude.
game was Summer Sanders. Don't you get slimed if you lose? Doesn't the green
You
stuff?
talking Double Dare?
Double Dare, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I thought that.
You
way.
might have. You might
Just
have.
saying.
But then it turned into like they celebrated people getting slimed, and it was like
A badge of honor.
it was a badge of honor.
Gotcha.
Like Jordan Love won the MVP 1 week this year. He got himself a slime hat. He said, dude, I'm looking too good with my Old Spice
Right. It's like-
partnership to
yeah.
not do this. All right, Potawatomi Hotel and Casino Sportsbook. Going to be making a stop there tonight
Okay.
before Bucks and Clippers.
Let's go. You going to the game tonight there, Billy?
Yeah, and I just got a text from a friend of mine said, hey, man, if we got time, I'd like to go place a bet before the game.
Oh, we got time.
Oh, we will
We
make
got
time.
time. You got time. You got kiosks. You got everything there.
You
You're
really
good to
don't
go.
even have to get distracted by the Dragon Cash machines. Now,
Nope.
you know I will because
No,
you know
right.
that I'm walking all the way through down to the lower bowl. I'm taking the escalator down,
Yeah.
feeling like Zach Galifianakis with the numbers running through my mind
I
of
love
how many hand pays I can get,
Yeah.
how much time I have before we got to get to tip off. So I can probably win like 3 or 4 jackpots in that time.
Mhm.
Still place a bet with all the kiosks right there on the Skywalk,
Yep. Get a Dr. Pepper and go.
and you're out.
Yeah.
That's as easy as it is.
really is.
And Dr. Pepper upstairs, correct?
That's upstairs. You have to go upstairs for the Dr. Pepper.
This man's looking out for you guys.
Now they might be adding it downstairs too, but I don't know for sure yet. But I know you can get it upstairs.
Don't
And
break
Billy,
news if you don't know for sure.
Now the temporary sportsbook, Billy, we've talked about this. It has moved out of that old fire pit area because of the construction. It's right there when you get off, right by the marketplace there. You can grab
Mhm.
some food right there. Well, I like it. It's kind of open.
There's a bunch of TVs in there,
they've
which
done
is
a
also
nice-
a little bit of a hidden gem.
They've done a nice job with the second temporary sportsbook. You know,
Yeah, that's true. Now
they've
they've
done a really nice job with it. Yeah,
this is the second temporary sports
Right,
book.
right.
The new one will be coming in May 3rd,
May 3rd, we got
is
the
when they've
news.
announced it. More
Yeah.
importantly, this radio program will be there on March 22nd.
like it, love it.
We will know exactly where in Potawatomi we will be closer to that moment.
Yes.
Also,
When those games tip off on the second day of the tournament, we'll be in there.
I'm not going to get up from the seat.
No.
I'm just gonna
Nope.
I'm just gonna stay where we're broadcasting.
Yeah, I'm good here. Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit there because if I leave, in the middle of one of the breaks to go to the bathroom, you might not see me again. Right? Like, I mean, like I know my limitations. I know how easily influenced I can be by a cash money machine while I'm walking back to the table.
We need you at least to stay until the end of the show.
I'll
Yeah.
stay. I'm not gonna move one time. I'm gonna stay right at the chair, hang out, I'll shake some hands, kiss some babies. If you're bringing your baby to Potawatomi, you know that you're going hard, so I'm gonna give you some serious respect. And maybe we'll give out some W's like we do here during the Coons Can't Miss. Now, I potentially brought up going Bucks over the Clippers. Armin has something cooking on in the college game that might be even more appealing.
I
however.
do have one. By the way, do you remember our bet last week, or John's bet was the Quinnipiac or Quinnipiac?
Quinnipiac,
I did
yes.
it again. I did it again.
Did it again.
It's Quinnipiac. Now Quinnipiac did win this weekend, but this was for the game against Iona, I believe, on March 1st.
Yep.
And if you remember, Quinnipiac was getting 2.5 points. They didn't need 2.5 points. They went outright.
Finish.
They didn't even need to win outright by 5 points, by 10 points.
But
They put it on Iona Gales. They
Oh.
won 82-64.
jeez.
So when you, I'm not even about, can they cover 2.5? They heard us talking about it up there in where is Quinnipiac? I don't even know. Quinnipiac.
somewhere in the East
Somewhere
Coast.
in the east, out
Yeah,
east, they
somewhere
do
out
they
east.
do polls. They didn't need any points. They put it on Iona. They made their presence felt. And I'll be honest with you, they're my pick to win the MAC. They really are.
Wow, they're winning the Mid-Atlantic
They're winning the Mid-Atlantic or Middle
Athletic Conference.
whatever it is. They're winning it, in my opinion. Not only did they beat Iona, they also blew out Siena yesterday.
Oh, jeez.
So they're in good shape. So I've got so that was a
Hamden,
win.
Connecticut.
Hamden, Connecticut. Yeah, sounds like a
we all know that.
sounds like a classy place. Sounds like a lot of vineyard vines up there.
Sounds like a lot of Schneidmans
Oh,
running
a
around.
lot of Schneidman, a lot of chai lattes and stuff. But anyway, 126.94 and 5 for the Quinnipiacs. getting their big dub. So we're gonna try and get another dub here or there, Billy. I just wanted to remind everybody that was a big win.
Yeah, more importantly, let's make sure that we remind everybody that we got W's.
All right.
Now let's find a way
right.
to give them another W because the Bucks laying 5.
So 5
seems
not
a
bad.
little high potentially.
Well, see, I think they can cover it, but I don't know if it's a super safe play, whatever it is, because it is the Clippers, right, coming in town.
Clippers off a back-to-back, didn't play great yesterday, but an early matinee against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Now, here's what I like, Billy. Tonight, Texas at Baylor. Not a lot of great college games tonight, but there are a couple good games. Texas at Baylor. Baylor's ranked. Texas is very close. Now, to me, the line is 145.5. Now, when we started this segment, and I'm not kidding you because I was looking this up, it was 144.5. See, I like the over in this game. I think this one's going over. Ken Palm's going to go to 150. This line is people are reading my mind. This line's already moved a full point in the last 20 minutes.
So jump on it now.
I jump on
Get
it
in
now.
your car, go for your lunch break.
Now you can confirm it. I had it written down at 144.5. That's what we're getting. That's what we're getting. Okay, that's what we got the ticket in. 144.5. The line's already moved 145.5. If you like it, I like the over in this game. Texas Baylor.
Book them with the Bears. Hook them with the Horns. Everybody's scoring tonight. Everyone's winning, and everyone's cashing tickets at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. 70+ kiosks where you can go. And don't forget, though, this is the one thing that the kiosks make it almost not as enjoyable, not as sought after to go and talk to the tellers. Go talk to someone.
Talk to somebody. They're working hard.
They're working hard. They're waiting there for you.
Put $1 in the tip box at least, right?
Well, especially when you're winning.
Exactly.
Especially when you go in there to cash one on out.
You're there to get cash tickets, right? I'm not telling you to do it when you lose.
Yeah.
You do it when you win, right? That's fair.
My favorite part about the Potawatomi Sportsbook, the ability to cash said ticket at the sportsbook or at the other cashiers.
At the cage.
That is just that's a great decision by them to incentivize you being able to go other places.
Very nice.
Because those other ones are closer to Dragon cash machines. 414-799-1973, 414-799-1973. We still got a couple of things to get to, including a Hall of Famer amongst us who might be hanging it up, one that's re-upping in the NFL, and a trucker rescue in Louisville, Kentucky.
That's crazy, man.
Which is one of the strangest, craziest, scariest, all wrapped in one rescues I've ever seen. Feats of heroism coming up next. It's 9 to noon on the game.
That's big dreams. I did that. Don't knock me because you're boring. I'm ready to sell.
Special request to my Julie, you party right now. Me want big man and make a you bella talk with this. Uncle, you body, you tidy, you squeeze it. Excess amount of love and I'm gonna make it easy.
It's 9 to noon on the game. Hanging out with you, it's Sarian and Schmid for the week. John Kuhn enjoying some sunshine down in beautiful Hawaii. He probably is just waking up by now, right? 4-hour difference, 5-hour difference, depending upon which island you are at. I believe only been there one time.
He's probably up there wrestling with dolphins.
He's
John,
getting it done.
Well, what'd you do? No, I got up early. I did a workout, did a run. I helped the guy rebuild his house, something like that. I'm just saying, and he'll tell you about it.
Cleaned up some wreckage from the fires. I don't know if you guys know that, but listen, I know how to fix this.
I asked him about. I was curious about that. The tragic fires they had and everything like that. He said
because he's going to Maui, right?
He said there's some areas and they've been cleaning them up and they've done a good job getting the tourism industry back. But I'm sure it'll be interesting to see I love that, because that was a big industry for them. A lot of people in Maui made their living on tourism. You know what I mean? So you don't want people to be afraid to visit there.
Yeah,
obviously.
No doubt.
Not that you ever would be. It's a most beautiful place in the world, probably, but stuff like that, I'm sure people think about,
So I'm watching this video during the break of, one of our favorite places, Las Vegas, Nevada, Stadium Swim at Circus Sports.
Ooh, windy yesterday. Windy.
Dude.
I had a buddy out there. He saw stuff was flying up Park MGM like sighting. Like it was so windy there.
There's a video of at Stadium Swim, literally the daybeds like flying around and this one just wrecks this dude. Like, I mean, my man gets absolutely smoked by this mattress.
He's like, why did I pay this cover for
As we're watching that, pool season has begun. There's 30+ mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, yeah.
Who chimes in? But our own Steve Zabin. Good job shooting this vertical.
Oh.
Those avoidable whip hands to catch the action are soothing. End vertical video.
I cracked me up when I saw that. He is so passionate about this. He hates vertical video. He's just so passionate about it. And that's what all I could think about is like, man, there's some wild wind out there. Like I got hit. Like I hope he's all right.
Right. I hope that guy's okay.
Why did he shoot it vertical?
Nagler responds, and this must be why I saw it because you just did a second ago. # end vertical video is the most old man thing you've ever tweeted.
And that's
it is kind of close.
Which is saying something.
Which is why we love him.
Yeah. But I will say this. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine you thinking like, oh, I've got my Vegas vacation ready. I'm gonna drop this money on a cabana.
I got a cabana, dude. Stadium Swim. It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be because it's beautiful there, obviously.
Dude, it's so fun.
And you're ready to go. And next thing you know, it's like the windstorm in a century. Like, you know what? I think I'm not gonna stay out here today.
The closest I ever got to it was Tim Allen and I are out for Super Bowl, one of the early Super Bowl, 51, 52, 53, whatever. Early Super Bowls. I mean, early 50s.
Sure.
And I had just gotten the itch to play golf, right? Like I played a bunch the year before. I was fresh out of college, and that's what you do once you realize you can't play team sports anymore. You throw yourself into golf and say, I'm going to get really good.
You committed to it. You have a passion for it. You want to play more.
Narrator. You never get good. Right, you actually never get good.
You get a little better, but never good enough to not be frustrated.
I'm out there and I brought my clubs. I had decided that I was going to bring my clubs, right? Because I had the itch. I wanted to play. I had to play.
You're like, I'm committed. I'm using my equipment. I'm doing this.
Getting better.
Yeah.
It's maybe because we would go like Saturday to Wednesday.
Okay.
Tuesday morning, hit on Golf Now. Boom, $35. Let's go. I'm gonna go play.
Yeah.
I was playing and it was snowing.
Oh my God.
There were flurries.
Oh my God.
I was so cold. I'm in like 1/4 zip. I got my hands going into my pants to warm up in between shots, and I'm driving the golf cart with no hands.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It took me until about 7 or 8 holes in. I said, this is the most miserable time I've ever had.
And that's
why am I doing this?
Ask yourself, why am I here? Why did I pay money to do this?
Why did I do this?
This is not fun. This is not enjoyable. I'm a free-willed man. I have the right to go home right now.
I do. Yeah. And you know what I did, Armin?
I went home.
Exactly that. Ordered myself an Uber an hour and a half earlier than I had thought I was, and I'm getting the heck up out of here.
Peace out, guys. I'm going home. I'm sitting at home having a Hot Pocket.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm going to go on over here and enjoy the $2.49 hot dog at Casino Royale and put these clubs right back into the room.
Yeah. That would be a good idea. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nice indoor places to be on a day like this. That's the thing about Las Vegas. Even if it's the worst windstorm of the century, a lot of stuff to see inside.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Billy's like, you know what? I'm not wasting any more time out here. I can see you doing that.
Get
like,
right to the table, dude.
Yeah,
There's no reason why I am freezing my butt off. I don't have a drink, and I'm not gambling. I'm out here by myself.
Right,
exactly. It was a strange situation. I still remember looking over at Tim before I left. And, you sure you don't want to go? He goes, are you sure you want to go?
Exactly.
Probably a question that I should ask myself maybe a little bit more seriously than I did. 414-799-1973. So Mike Evans back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 years, $35 million guaranteed. He's kind of the first guy to leap in with his team, make sure that he does not take up the franchise tag. Now, I don't think they were going to tag him. That deadline comes up this week, Armin. Antoine Winfield Jr., player that many Packer fans would like to see. They're not swimming in that pool.
Right.
I don't think he hits the market. I think they tag him. But Evans is one of these interesting dudes where I like to appreciate how good he's been while still playing, because it's a career that you look back on. Got 10 1,000-yard seasons.
It's amazing, yeah.
To start a career.
Well, I don't know how many people
no one had more than 6.
I don't know how many people could say that either, that they would know that. Like, when you think of him, he's a good receiver, but you're like, no one had more than 6, and he's got 10, and he's never had
blown that record away.
Talk about consistency. Like, that's remarkable consistency, career consistency. Never had that super high peak and valley. Like, you know what I mean? So you at least know an investment like that, until it's not, is going to be a good one, because you know what you're going to get from him, and there's a big value in that.
7th
Absolutely.
Overall pick in 2014.
Impressive.
And ever since, he's been a 1,000-yard receiver, and he's done it with Jameis Winston, who we already know Jameis can put it up. All right. He's going to throw and put up some numbers. Obviously Tom Brady, and gets his ring right there. And then Baker Mayfield, like, listen, everybody hates Brian. No, on our talking text line, they're still letting us know about this.
Yep.
There's one thing Brian did get right. He may have gotten Jordan Love wrong, but he got Baker kind of right.
He got that one right. He did. He predicted the resurgent year, or at least said Baker was going to have a good year.
He's going to have a good year. Yeah. He had a fantastic year, and a large portion of it is because he was throwing it to Mike Evans. So he's back in the fold, $35 million guaranteed. There were some Chiefs fans that were quite hurt. They had been thinking that he was going to be a target for them in free agency. No can do. Sorry about that. Other news throughout the weekend. Bears fans just in love with Caleb Williams.
They're falling more and more in love
with him.
Just
in love with how much he loves ball.
They're in that infatuation phase where they're starting to believe, starting to want it, starting to be like, this is it. This is the one. This is finally our time. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it is. I don't predict
Maybe it will be. I'm not thinking so.
But now Caleb, and you notice that Caleb Williams has done that whole like hero term where it's like, oh man, I'd love to play for Chicago.
I love Chicago.
I love watching Walter Payton videos. I love this stuff. Oh yeah, Jordan and all that. Yeah, it's so funny.
Play the game very well.
Remember how he said for a while, I don't want to be there. I need ownership stake. I need equity. Yeah, none of that's there.
Yeah, that flipped pretty quickly, huh? That changed quite quickly.
No, well, does that mean the Bears are going to settle on drafting him? And there's still that question. Would they trade the pick at all? I don't know. I mean, I think the Bears are going to be afraid to pass on him if he becomes that guy, right? I think that's where it's going to be. It's that fear that's going to keep them from moving that pick. But we'll see.
Would you be more trepidatious, more scared to be the team that passes on him?
Oh, yeah.
Or be the one that could be fired in 17 weeks?
But the thing is, you talk about front offices and stuff, and you talk about special teams coaches and their jobs. They're worried about their jobs too. Mm-hmm. And if you have that albatross around your neck of being the guy that no one's going to – let's say Caleb Williams turns out to be a good quarterback but not great, or a guy that – turned out to be okay, or even a total bust. No one's going to rip on the Bears right now for picking Caleb Williams. No one's going to sit there and question that decision. No one's going to say you're wrong for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it becomes a Mahomes situation where they could have had Mahomes and they passed on him, that hangs around their neck. Like, it's that whole thing. So
it is interesting to me, and maybe it's because of where they were in the timeline. And just remember like how it all had lined up when the Niners – the Bears are the ones we joke about and laugh at.
Sure.
As the team that passed on Pat Mahomes.
But we don't talk about the other teams.
No one did twice.
Yeah.
The Niners traded out of the second pick.
Good point.
Went back to the third pick, still decided they didn't want him, and that Jimmy Garoppolo, who they just traded for a second-round pick and given $100 million to, was better than that situation.
We don't like to
bring that on up. But then 2 years later, said, "Oh yeah, we got to go get Trey Lance."
Right. I mean, good point, Billy. Their track record with quarterbacks has not been amazing either. They just happened to hit a jackpot with
It's
Brock Purdy.
horrendous. It is horrendous. Except they get bailed out with Purdy.
That Trey Lance pick might be the worst bust pick in the history of NFL. I'm not talking about because you think about what they gave up to get him and how bad he was. He wouldn't even start. He didn't even give him a chance.
Yeah,
But they had Brock Purdy.
It was one of the reasons, looking at it in hindsight of the 2023 season, why I hated Purdy as much as I did early in the season. Because I didn't want the Niners to get bailed out that way.
Yeah, right, and that's what it is. They got bailed out.
And I made it personal against Purdy. And I will find more reasons to dislike Brock Purdy, but he did a lot to make me like him throughout the playoffs.
Well,
I did not like.
He's a really good quarterback, but no one could convince me that the Niners knew something with him. You can't. If you did, you wouldn't have made him the last pick.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get lucky. 715 said, trying to stay away from the gambling. Wow, Billy, you need help. Sucks, 715. Listen, the help that I need, the help that we need is winning.
Hey, Mom, stop texting the text line.
Yeah, seriously, get out of here. Right. Relax, Roxanne. How about that one? 414-799-1973, Ted the 920. Don't Chicago will still believe side that they're going to draft Caleb Williams. And he does become another one of those long names in the long list of L's for the Bears as a franchise quarterback. We'll wrap things on up. Turn third, head for home coming up next. And we will hand it off for the first time in 2 weeks to Mike Heller in 20 minutes live from Arizona. It's The Game.
My lyrics are provide electricity. Y'all nobody can tell you nothing cause you don't know your destiny. Yo, sexy ladies want power with us, in the car with us.
go to the beach, each, let's go get a wave. They say what they gonna say. Have a drink, clink, found a Bud Light. Bad bitches like me, it's hard to come by. The Patron, let's go get it down. The sound, yes, I'm in the zone. Is it 2, 3? Leave a good tip. I'ma blow all of my money and don't give up.
It's 9 to noon on the game. Bucks and Clippers tonight getting ready to do battle on the WMLW.
Let's go. Local, baby.
Local TV. Armin missed the local TV game on Friday night, but you were there in-house for the Bucks. Just giving it to the Chicago Bulls, which is one of my favorite things to enjoy, especially because Bulls fans, for their team being as cheeks as they have been for the last 20 years,
cheeks, yeah,
for the majority of the time, outside of Derrick Rose's 2 years of some of the best basketball I've watched, they've been cheeks for the majority of that time. However, their fan base is real rabid and real loud still.
Well, it's the impact of the cultural impact that those 90s teams had, and obviously Chicago's a big market. It pervades, and it's a credit to that team, and it's a worldwide brand, and it's a big brand, and they're passionate Bulls fans that still go pay money for those tickets at United Center just to go up there and watch Ayo Dosunmu, go 1 for 6 for 3, whatever. It is
That's
what
beautiful.
It is. But I mean, it was so great to be there, watch the Bucks put it on the Bulls.
Giannis with what, 25 in the first half, 20 in the first half.
What a monster. He was hitting threes. Giannis was just awesome. And guy.
And I think my favorite thing is that he was going for 50.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, he's in the game up 20 with a minute and a half to go.
It was great.
He was trying to get 50.
And it was Chicago's own Pat Beverly to end it. To end it.
14 in the fourth.
14 on the fourth. He really, when it was, could have been a run for the Bulls at the end of the third. They were cut it to 10. He ratcheted up the defensive intensity. Pat really turned the energy around. I mean, you can see the edge he plays with on the court. And, he's a West Side guy in Chicago. Patrick Beverly was happy. He played for the Bulls. He was happy to let him know. And then he got Vooch a little bit upset. Vooch thrown out of the game. The cheap shot on Bobby Portis had that, and then it was DeMar. I mean, it was getting a little chippy, and Bobby was into it, and Pat was talking to the bench. You just love that energy there, and you love the Bucks reminding the Bulls, their neighbors to the south. We're still the big dogs. We're still running this. This is still our era. And as a Bucks fan, I love seeing it. I love seeing guys at the end of my row, 6, Modelo's deep, getting angry every time the Bucks were scoring. Like,
that's beautiful.
I just paid all this money to watch us get it put on like this. Yep, that's the way it is. Sorry, man. This is our time. This is our era. Now go take your picture with the Jordan statue and go home.
Go all remember your 30 years ago, how exhilarating that was.
Exactly.
While you're taking your picture, tell somebody about the 85 Bears, and then, see you later.
Exactly. I love
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
I also think there's something to the Pat Beverly trade, and not only the fact that last game I was at, I think it was his second home game, there was already a guy I was sitting in front of who had a Pat Beverly jersey on.
Loved it. They wanted
not many midseason additions for campaign and a second round pick is going to have people going out and buying jerseys. Pat Bev has. He's also, let me know if you think I'm off base with this. It feels like he's reminding players on the Bucks that it's fun to beat the hell out of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, because I feel like there is something to the grind of the NBA season. What happened to you last year in the playoffs that you're like, all right, well, this doesn't really mean anything. Like, all right, we just beat this team by 20. It is what it is. That night in, night out energy that he's bringing seems to be more of, fellas, this just ain't normal. We got to enjoy the fact that we're this good and be proud of the fact that you're this close, that you have a chance to win a championship and play like it every night.
And enjoy being able to just be competitive every night.
Yeah.
Competing. I mean, that's what a lot,
that's why you get into it.
You're in the sports, you're in a competition. That's the fun of it. And Pat is always going to bring it and say, no, let's compete and practice. You heard the thing about it with him and Giannis, and he was talking about it on his podcast. Let's compete and practice. Let's bring it out to the floor. Let's be excited about it. Let's be proud about it. Let's talk about it. Let's really enjoy this
They've
ride.
definitely upped their talking on the floor, which is one reason for me to get very excited.
And Pat was one of those guys that will get into a guy on defense for the
Mr. 94 feet.
For the few minutes he's going to be kind of unleashed, unleash a dog here by Doc. And, that's why Doc loves him. And he loves that Doc will do that for him.
Yeah, and he's played for Doc before.
Yeah.
And I don't know, John would be able to tell us more about it. And maybe we need a little bit more sample size to be able to fully see it. But Doc talked about it when he first took the job. He's like, I'm going to have to make some new friends. Talking on the coaching staff. He also on the roster, right? Like, hadn't coached any of those guys really. They bring in a dude like Pat Bev, who's played for Doc before. appreciates Doc. Doc kind of knows what he's about. There's something to, in my opinion, a coach having someone on the team. Confidant might be the wrong way of putting it because it makes it sound like a teacher's pet, right? Somebody just to tell you what, hey man, these guys were doing bad stuff. Like you got to take care of it. Sometimes it can be more of just send a message, right? Be the guy that can be a little bit of the coach's voice in the locker room. And I think that's one deal for Pat Bev that we're going to see moving forward as a reason why he can bring a little bit different energy.
I totally agree. So I'm excited about that going forward. And
everyone wants the PJ Tucker style, and you see a little bit smaller version of it.
Maybe it's that type of signing. And Billy, listen.
Get to see PJ Tucker tonight. You think he stopped over at Stenny's for lunch?
I think maybe he has great memories of being here, of going to Stenny's. It has not been all cupcakes and puppy dogs.
No ice cream for PJ Tucker over the last year.
So we'll see if that happens a little bit. We'll see what the reaction's like. That'll be a fun one to watch tonight. And Billy, I don't know. There's nothing better than being able to talk your stuff on a court or any playing field and then back it up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what Pat did in the fourth quarter. Because he had 0 points going in, and he put up 14 and then talk and then back it up. Doesn't happen often, but when you're able to do it.
Like when you were up 2 sets on someone back at Greenfield High School, and you were letting them hear it.
And if you do, and you can actually back it up, you feel like you're.
Then you win in straight sets, and you're just laughing at this guy, saying, "Hey, man, maybe you need some more hustle to beat these Hawks."
Oh, I love it. Didn't happen often,
but it happened enough
every now and then.
But it happened enough. Hey, blind squirrel finds a nut every single once in a while.
Let's go, baby.
Mike Heller is back. He is back in his normal time slot. He's not back in the state of Wisconsin. You know where he is back in? Arizona. Getting ready for spring training coverage of your Milwaukee Brewers, unlike any other, that starts tomorrow, 9 to noon. We'll be back tomorrow, and Armin and I are going to try to be even better during tomorrow's show.
Absolutely.
I think that's a goal that we set for ourselves.
Let's do it.
Let's try to be better tomorrow. 9 to noon on the game. Mike Heller's next.
All I want is respect. I'm not a boxer.